Good morning, Miss L. How you doing today? Good morning, Blasty. Yeah, they're doing really well, Miss L. However, next today is he's been a wee bit of a chaotic mischief, I think. So basically, the cage that we have here, or the crate, it's not really his bed. It's just more allows me to like go to the shower, do streaming and stuff like that. But he's learned that it's yeah, it's not suitable for his needs. So he just wants to roam around and do crazy things. But I just need him to chill. Welcome in, TV. How you doing, Chief? He's doing well, yeah. Hey, good morning, Starburger. Good morning, TF. Welcome in, guys. Always the case when you're watching my show, 2V. Hey, Heavy Bob. Good day to you, Chief. Right, I'm gonna shut down the GoFundMe now. Trying to figure out how you actually do that though. Alright, there we go. Bird Twitch TV broken? No, it should be working, dude. Why? Hey, Dark Neon. Good day to you. There's a bunch of murderers in Australia. UK still tracking number plates of people in Region 8. I don't know, dude. G6, guys. Alright. Awesome. Good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever the fuck you are around the world. Good morning to you guys. I am your host, Michael the Dark Lawrence, and welcome to another episode of The Darkness here on Twitch. It is Monday, chat, 24th October 22, day 159 in a row. Ooh, sweaty, absolutely sweaty. How you doing today, guys? Welcome in. Right now, we've got a sort of short, hopefully longer show to do. I'm not going to play Star Citizen, but I am going to watch Salty Mike's yesterday podcast, Answer the Call, because I couldn't get to watch it. and it has a very interesting topic that I want to do, and especially is because Little Monkey is sitting down there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let's do that. Let me also change this. I need to do this because it's changed because we're crashing subs. Let's try and get back to 325. Back to 325. Tell the sun to fuck off. Sweaty. Hey, Yourself. How you doing, Chief? Alright. I'm all caught up there, but welcome in, guys. Yeah, I appreciate everyone tuning in. So yeah, just because there's no way I can, whilst he's still settling into the house, there's no way I can do any like flying around and stuff like that. It's not possible. I'm gonna get too distracted. So we're just gonna chill out and watch ATC. Plus, whilst it's like 2 hours and stuff like that. So there you guys go. It's got a second toolbox, toy box even on. He's just chilling. He seems to like the light for some reason, which is strange. The funny thing is, his eyes are hidden behind his ball that I don't know if you can see it in the little corner there. Hey, 2V, thank you very much for the 9 months. Appreciate that, dude. But yeah, he's having a good dream right now. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate that. Just laying in bed. Just laying down for bed? Ah, nice, dude, yes. Right, okay. So this is Answer the Call. This is Salty Mike's podcast that he normally does every Sunday. Obviously, it might not be every Sunday, because I know he wants to change his sort of plans and stuff like that. And the topic is attacking, defending, and running the new flight model. Again, this is all going to be speculation, because nobody has a fucking clue. But I'm always down to hearing people's opinions, especially with certain people on the panel. Today, like everything, as I say to anyone who tunes in to the channel to be like, what do you think of the flight model, all that stuff. On paper it sounds good, but until we actually test it, all that jazz, again, it's just speculation, theory crafting, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be true. Even when you hear it from the voices of people who, like myself, know the game, know the flight model, all that jazz, it still doesn't mean that this is going to be how it is. It's just opinions, speculation, theory craft, all that stuff. No need to go, oh my god, the end of the world is fucking coming. Just enjoy. I'm going to cut it through like on certain things, but obviously we do have a decent panel. Mainly I want to hear just what Virgil says. I know they've got some other people on board, but yeah, alright. That's whatever, you know.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call. I want to give you a little intro to all this, but I think the topic is very self-explanatory: attacking, defending, running in the new flight model.
Like what combat, I know you're a heavy Bob.
Piracy and all these things may be like, but it all came from. I would think I was watching something with the flight model.
I know, thank you very much for 3 months, dude. Good morning to you.
I was talking about like how I didn't feel like you can run with this possibly. It might be something that could be really problematic. Then he made a video and I reacted to it, and I didn't think it kind of explained the issues that I had with it, but also brought up some other ideas. We're gonna have Avenger 1 on. He couldn't make it, and I wanted to. I would casually have everybody further Virgil and Jonathan Winters.
I don't know who.
So, I guess we'll start out. You guys should introduce yourselves. So
I know who Jonathan was. Jonathan Winters does really good YouTube channels explaining. He does start streaming as well. Esperia on the line is Hannah, who does a lot of like, has caught me before with a Mantis and stuff like that. Boss of Mongrel Squad. Ah, thank you. Right, so I know who Mongrel Squad is, I know what they get up to. So we've got piracy, we've got sort of like tutorials, and then obviously we've got the God Emperor himself, never seen face, absolute meme lord, Virgil from Shadow Moses, and we've got Salty Mike, okay?
We'll start with agents. Who are you? What are you doing, Star Citizen? And
all right, like, maybe I should have waited for this part.
Why would you be on a show like this, do you think?
Hi, I'm Agents Letty. I'm the leader of Mongrel Squad. We're a pirate.
Do you like how he does this hologram thing? That's very, very fucking clever. Like,
the reason why I would be called into this particular topic is because the new flight model is going to be presenting a lot of opportunities for us to enact more piracy on players, and it's going to change the dynamic between predator and prey with piracy.
Yeah, that's
gameplay.
very true, actually.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even more recently, just seeing the way, like I've been watching the videos, and it's already becoming way less of let's hold them up for money and more just like boarding and taking, and it's like it's already starting to change, which is very exciting. I guess we'll go around in a circle. So, Jonathan,
Yeah.
who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen, and why might you be here on today's show?
What's up, peeps? So
It's
I do
ridiculous that he
PvP
doesn't
mostly,
invite me.
and mostly what I do is teach people.
best-
I've been around for a very
the
long
best
while.
atmosphere pilot
I was
ever.
with Angels of the Warp. I was in Black
Oh,
Fleet, and
he was
I
in
currently
Angels of the
play
Warp,
every now and
really?
then with Liberty Reapers. So yeah. that's what I do.
Oh,
And those are all
okay.
what would be considered just like other PvP orgs.
Those
I
are
obviously
the
know
top-
them, but yeah.
Yeah, those are the top of the top. I mean, Liberty's.
I
is
didn't know
probably the
that.
best
I actually,
PvP org
genuinely, I
right
thought
now,
he was
hands
just
down.
somebody new on the scene.
Oh, don't throw that at me.
Oh,
Holy
you would
shit.
You would not. The top of the top. I mean, those what I do.
And those are all what would be considered just like other PvP
love it.
orgs.
This is
Those
very
are-
funny.
I obviously know
top-
them, but yeah.
Yeah, those are the top of the top. I mean, Liberty's is probably the best PvP org right now, hands down.
Oh,
same.
don't throw that at me.
Oh, you
Holy
would
shit.
You would not win, I promise you.
Oh, no.
There's Black Fleet, which was the top of the tier back in the day, and Angels of the Warp was also the top back in the day.
So I guess
I
I shouldn't
disbanded
have.
those orgs, by the way.
So I guess
I'm aware.
This is the shit that I love in Star Citizen, the fucking banter, right? Because generally speaking, and I say this with the deepest amount of respect to all the PvP orgs, nobody is actually like at the top right now because Arena Commander is so fucking memey, the game is so memey. I want to see it when we actually have like assets to lose and stuff like that. A pissing contest, yeah, and I love that shit. But I will never ever rate, like I always say, I always categorize people and organizations as good. You know, they're good at the game right now and stuff like that. But for me to ever go into like great, amazing pro, top of the bed, you know, number one or anything like that, I need to see when they fight over assets. When you're just shooting at each other and fucking whatever, you know what I mean? It's just PvP as it is right now in Star Citizen. But for me to see the greats, I need to see when they lose things and how they come back from loss of assets and all that stuff. So yeah.
I guess I shouldn't have brought Virgil on then because he's not a part of a top PvP org. So.
All right, that's pretty good.
Virgil is from Shadow Moses, which is an incredible PvP org. I'm not going to lie. But they have numbers. They have a lot of people. They have a lot of great pilots in there that I personally know, Goliath, Naz. But if we were to do like an organized 10 versus 10, I'd give it to Liberty Reapers every single time.
Okay.
All right, now I will start out with this. That has nothing to do with today's topic, so we'll
Yeah.
I'll allow Virgil to respond because it would only be fair, but we'll leave that part of the conversation right here.
I mean, yeah. There's no
Virgil, why
room
would
for
you be on
TDL, you know.
Today's show, and who are you and what do you do? Oh, Cutler woke up too.
Yeah, so I don't know. I like to think I'm pretty rehearsed in the flight model, and you know, you and me have done podcasts before,
Yep.
based off of flight and all that jazz a lot. So, just the natural
Trash
progression
as
of
well.
it.
I know,
I've been waiting for
I
this
know.
for a long time, and yeah, and
Casual PvP.
I run.
org.
Yeah, exactly. You know, definitely. I'm not even gonna go there. I'm gonna keep it. Nah, we're good. But
Okay.
those guys suck. But yeah. Okay.
So I will be looking at my phone occasionally. It's because we do all this stuff on Discord, and if I open,
Exactly, Heavy Bob. Exactly. You know, like if I was actually say, obviously I know pretty much all the major sort of organizations that indulge in PvP. You know, these 5v5, 10v2, whatever, fucking Arena Commander, all that stuff. there's a lot of good PvP organizations out there. Well, some that I can like I would say join Liberty Reapers, join Shadow Moses, join Mongrel Squadron. You know what I mean? They actually do things in this game. You know, join QQP if you like really, really small engagements. You know what I mean? Like, I never ever rate my organization as like ever to go up against any of these free contenders. It's just not possible. It's not what we do. We're more like the assholes that will pester an organization like that, but could never beat. Could never like throw them off the course of what they were doing. Just maybe, you know, be like a little chihuahua at the ankle kind of thing. And that's what I'm happy to do in the game, and be good at it, you know. But this is a good that we have a decent group
cameras, so I
for this kind of thing.
What we were going to talk about.
Because I'm pretty sure Hannah's part of Mongrel Squadron
because it's
as well.
My show, but it's also, I think, my concerns.
Indeed, weird. All the greatest memers are Australians. Well, Australians are like Scottish heavy bob. You know what I mean? We're heavily judged because we both love to say the word "can't." You know what I mean? And the world doesn't love people who can't.
Player. And I've played both the kind of more, I don't want to use the word casual because it's got a negative connotation.
We're
but
not really,
minor,
we're not really filthy
somebody
criminals.
Who's not really interested in getting involved in PvP and a lot of their day-to-day operations in the game, right?
Survivalists,
they're
I would
actively
say.
trying to avoid.
We only go criminal
and
to
when
start
the new
up.
flight
Really.
model came out, it was kind of like, is this kind of changing?
Shut the fuck up! You're import Scottish heavy bob. Everyone knows that everyone around the world, right? Like, especially Americans. You're all Scottish, Irish, you know, Jewish and fucking English and stuff like that combined, you know what I mean? Apart from, obviously, like, Native Americans and stuff like that. But yeah, everyone came from the UK. It's the same with Australia. You had your, what do you call it? Indigenous tribes? You know, is that right? Indigenous tribes for Australia? And then obviously the British went over. So shut the fuck up. Yeah, you're import Scottish.
Balance in a way where
or export
it's
Scottish,
not going to work out for that player. Like, I am the
I love how Mike
and have always been of the idea that piracy is super important. I want as a I guess industry player would be what you would call it. You need to have that risk and reward, and that risk cannot come from NPCs exclusively. It has to be player interaction. It has to be
indigenous. That's it.
That level of fear. It can't just be the death of a spaceman from a tough NPC that you're fighting.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So there's going to be that. Like, I'm not going to be in that kind of category. I absolutely.
Everyone in Star Citizen should have a fear of asset loss. Not just death of a spaceman, but asset loss. When you lose a fighter, for example, there should be an idea of fear that you are losing something at the time. You know what I mean? Be it time, be it modules, be it money, be it reputation, or anything like that. The moment that you pass away or fail something in Star Citizen, there should be some form of loss. And there just isn't right now. The only loss in Star Citizen right now is time, and it's so fast to get back into an occasion, it's just ridiculous now.
Happen. So that's the like I always am of the if I can, I will fight. So I want to make sure that that's there. But there's opportunities and situations where, as a minor cargo hauler, like if you have a load of stuff on your ship, like you're not you don't want to fight, you want to run, you want to make sure you keep that stuff. So that's sort of what I want to talk about. But
that would be the loss.
What was the first topic that I had there? I guess since we're gonna go there, and I guess with mining and stuff, one of the first situations that I have always dealt with, and I deal with more often than any, is just the random person. One, maybe two people who aren't there necessarily to pirate you, but you're out there, you're playing the game, whether you're mining, you're cargo hauling, or you're just flying around doing whatever, and somebody comes around and they want to kill you. What's that engagement like now, and what do we think it's going to become in the future? I guess we'll start with Jonathan, because we'll start with Letty when we get into the more piracy aspects of the game and organized stuff.
Yes, everyone.
Well, I mean, it comes down to a lot of things, right? So the main thing I would say is scanning is going to be huge, because locating these people in such.
Do you have any explanation why Winters has been invited here? Well, again, you've got Letty, who is obviously Mongrel Squadron, so lots of piracy. Yeah, you could, to do what pirates need to do, and borders basically, you have to slow everyone down. Virgil pretty much knows the flight system, works with CIG and stuff. I don't know. That's the one that I don't understand why Hannah, and I don't understand why Jonathan Winters is here, personally. You know what I mean? I don't get that. I don't know why you need Virgil, a pirate organization, and another organization that's exactly like Shadow Moses, you know? And to be fair, I would always put Virgil will probably know more than everyone else because, again, he's very, very close to a lot of CIG. So, I don't know. I mean, apparently Cutlet's on this as well, and I'm kind of like, why do you need Letty and Cutlet, you know? Unless it's to do with, like, giant organization, piracy, and then Cutlet, small-scale piracy, you know what I mean? I don't get that.
Makes it much more,
they could have expanded the panel a little bit more. And they were wanting to bring Avenger 1 in, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not really a diverse group, if you know what I mean, you know? Avenger 1 couldn't make it. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, it's sort of the same sort of mentality. Like, Virgil, Jonathan Winters, Liberty Reavers, Shadow Moses. That's the same sort of, like... And the same with Avenger 1's Avenger Squadron. You know what I mean? That's like 3 organizations that are pretty much the same sort of mentality, same sort of, like, what they do in the organization, do in Star Citizen right now. Like, I get with Letty, with the piracy and stuff like that, then you've got, like, you know what I mean? It would have been nice to hear maybe from, like, somebody who does, like, trading organization, you know what I mean? And then maybe a mining organization. But I suppose Salty covers that area for mining. But you know what I mean? Like, it would have been cool with pirates, killers, and then traders. Yeah, something like that. Like Sigelian, you know what I mean? You know. Star Citizen. It's Virgil's leads an organization called Shadow Moses, which is obviously Metal Gear Solid, you know, stuff like that. How you doing, Willie, as well? And is it Cipra as well? Welcome in, Chief. Yeah. So for me, I kind of feel like it would have been cool if there was like a little bit more opinions from different areas. Or like somebody who is like pro-negative towards this flight model or something like that, you know? But again...
the only thing that I see as a concern to most casual players is going to be choke points. So any entry point into areas...
yeah, I mean, that's a solid response there, because again, in EVE Online, it's not really anything to do with like floating around. You can like, dodge things a little bit.
Will be important, and it is some...
Star Citizen choke points are definitely going to be a big thing, and funnily enough, this new flight model actually makes it a lot easier for people to not be choked. So right now, and I'm just going to go over this quickly just in case nobody understands this. Right now, you warp from a celestial object to another celestial object. That's a choke line, right? But it's quite a diverse choke line depending on rotation. But you go from OM1 to OM5, you know what I mean? It's always the same OM points as it rotates around on the sphere. The new system takes away that short-range warping, and you have to actually manually fly in through quantum, but you have to play a little mini-game to land, which means that technically, if someone in your fleet goes first, and they land at the location first, and they go, shit, it's a fucking trap, and you're in warp, you could technically pull yourself out of it. Right now, you've got to cancel warp, but right now, in this system, you're going to be able to pull yourself out of the mini-game, and you're going to be like, fuck, yes, okay, I survived, you know what I mean? So, choke points are not going to be where you don't really see them unless you've got, obviously, like, Scout is definitely going to be a big play in the game.
Letty can probably touch on that. I'm more
Again,
talking about a situation where...
I'm pretty sure you're not going to see group quantuming when you play the minigame alpha. I think it'll be what they're probably going to do is make it where you say you're doing like a proper warp, which would be like Crusader to Hurston. I bet you're going to be able to all go at once in some sort of bubble or something like that. But individual warping is going to be very much minigame timed. Or they do it like Elite Dangerous, where you sync up and whoever's the leader actually flies you in. Because I think, if I'm right, if anyone, it's been a while since I played Elite Dangerous, but I think you can have 3 people synced in Super Cruise in Elite Dangerous. And that's kind of what we're getting, you know what I mean? Something like that, yeah, Steel Bacon. Like, it's, again, this is all speculation, but that's sort of the general
You've
idea,
already
right?
scanned, and you've found me.
Why not both? Might be
And
something to do with the system.
now what? Right? That's kind of what the situation that I'm talking about here is. You found me. I may see you on my radar. I may not. What's the engagement like now in Star Citizen 317, and how do we think it changes for the better or for the worse in 318?
Okay, so it depends if they have a way of locking you down, because the only way they're going to be able to pirate is if they have something like a Mantis or some form of webifying like EVE Online had that would not allow you to escape. If that's not the case, and maybe they do cargo where you get disabled and then all of a sudden they can just loot you, then they're probably going to disable you within like 5 seconds, especially if it's something like 5 light fighters coming at you. There's no way you're going to run from that in time. Unless you were aware of your radar and you caught it and you were able to.
I'm just gonna stop there. It's very rude. It's triggering me that Salty Mike's corner of his camera is bigger than everyone else's. I just want to point that out if you're watching Salty. You've got the corner of Virgil here, and your camera extends over
Dip in
that
the other
line.
direction as fast as possible.
What about a situation where it's just like one other person? That's the situation I started with. We talked a lot
One
since
person.
then.
See,
you're fine.
my thing, right?
One
So, again, I'm going to cut Jonathan here. There's going to be no difference in what happens right now in Star Citizen. The difference is it's slower and you just have to react faster. It doesn't matter how CIG change it, it's always going to be a way where you can get away from somebody. But unlike Star Citizen right now, where you can just do it like that, you're going to have to go a little bit ahead and snaps faster in that sort of situation, instead of going, oh shit, my shields are gone, time for me to fucking disappear. It'll be where you're dead by the time you react like that. So that's all that really changes. Unless CIG throw some spanners in. But with everything that they've discussed already, it's just the same. It's just, you have to react faster. That's
Just
it.
hit B and fly away, right?
Yeah, even if we have these slower models, what it comes down to is acceleration. There's only so fast a reaction you can react to, and if you have enough of a gap to get distance, you can get away. It's not a problem.
Yeah, and the one thing that I always thought is weird about the current game is anytime you get new contacts and they're blue, it doesn't really say anything, right? You have to look at your radar, but if they're red, it'll be like contact, and you're like, oh shit, somebody's here, and they're red. Let me run. So the current game is like interesting. I wonder if we can eventually set the radar
system in general is absolutely shocking in this game.
But
because it doesn't give anyone who does like mining
like in the current model, I feel like running is quite simple in a lot of ways, unless you're going against an organized group.
Yeah, exactly.
Virgil, I'll let you jump in on that one real quick.
That's not going to change anything that CIG does. So CIG are not going to do, or there's going to be no change in this sort of area, because again, if you're against one person, you shrug it off, right? You're against 2 people, all right, bit spicy. You're against an organization by yourself, you're fucking screwed. It doesn't matter what CIG change, that's always going to be the case. Anytime you're versing a group that knows what they're doing, it doesn't matter, because they're always going to be at the top of the game on what to do, mechanics, all that jazz. It's in every single game like this. So if anyone expects to go, oh shit, I'm a brand new player and I get jumped by an organization that have been working together for years, I should have the right to get away, fuck off. Alright? No, you don't. That's the learning curve of any game that we play. But obviously, if you're talking about 1 or 2 people, then yeah, you know. When there's many, there's much to lose. No, but we're talking about where you're getting. They're talking about where they're getting jumped. You know. Yeah, the radar system is dreadful, Bacon.
No, like anyone can run from anyone. It's
Yeah.
like if you were to put 2 sweaty groups against each other, now in any scenario that's like above 3 players, it becomes fuel tank dependent. Like
Yeah, pretty
you know,
much.
time to kill
It's so shit.
hours. So it's just you can't even close a fight out with the max speeds right now.
Yeah.
That's why, like, for example, when Jumptown comes around, it's like, you're waiting for microtech, which basically simulates what this flight model is going to do, right? Which through the gravity settings on that moon, it's far tighter and it's slow.
This is why I've been saying to people who watch the show, you want to get an idea of what it's going to be like in Star Citizen with this new flight model, go to Hurston, go to Microtech, go to Calliope, which is near Microtech, go to Daymar it might be this sort of light, but generally our hard atmosphere right now is the dampen effect that they're talking about with thrusters. So when everyone is dependent on wiggly wiggly or backstrafey, go and do your moves in Hurston against somebody that knows what they're doing, and all your fucking moves go right out the fucking window. You know? I've fought many, I would say good players in the past, like 2 months with Fresh, Puppeteer and co. Guys from Shadow Moses, we had Anu's partner Pure, we had Ondo, who again, all these guys are really, really good. Really, really good. In the current Star Citizen. And it doesn't matter how good you are like an arena commander or how good you are 1 versus 1. The moment that you have to do logical thinking, and it's more about the way you fly and how you actually do it at the right second, instead of trying to break the mechanics. And it's not that I'm outing these people as people that break mechanics. It's you have to do that in the current meta of the game. It's just so stupid. But if you go into these environments, you can actually get a glimpse of what it's going to be like in 4.0, where you will have to be really, really good at thinking steps ahead of your opponent. So not like right now in Star Citizen, if somebody makes a step ahead of you, you do have a lot longer to counter that movement. But in the future, when they do a movement and it's delayed for you to counter it, or they counter back, it's like chess. So aiming and prediction of what's going on. So whenever I'm fighting somebody that has zero awareness of what's going on, they're going to struggle in this new system, Would say even more of a glimpse, at least well, I would say you get to feel what it's like with the dampening effect. You can tricord, but you can't just fucking tricord back and get up to speed. You know what I mean? That's what I'm sort of like going against, or trying to say, Anu, is that we don't actually have aerodynamics and all that bullshit in the game. We have, when you go into atmosphere, it changes how your thrusters work by dampening them, if people didn't know this. So 4.0 brings in dampening in space. So again, if you're able to play in Hurston, Microtech and stuff like that in combat, you're going to be able to do wonders in the future of this game. So it's going to be more of, I need to get my opponent to go this direction so I can quickly counter and get behind and just go light them up. That will be the idea of this flight model that's coming. Instead of it being the FPS mode, it needs to be about out-strategizing somebody. Not being able to strategize on the fly. Because again, anytime you're in a proper dogfight scenario is that you fought 10 steps ahead because you want them to go in a direction and counter their changes at the same time. But not where it's like, alright, they're going forward, I'll go backwards. Oh, they're going backwards, I'll go backwards. Oh, now they're having to go forward. No. Yeah, if you go to Hurston, you get a good sign of what it's like.
A sense of what the future's going to be like.
And Virgil's correct on this one.
In space, it just doesn't work. The game just doesn't work.
There's no dampening in space.
No one can kill anything, unless people decide to commit. And the meta is to try and recover your shields. So it just doesn't work at all. I
fucking hate shields, man.
It's really bad. This should have come.
I'm gonna just let this roll whilst I get a drink, guys.
I wouldn't even say that. good groups can keep on top of good groups, because that doesn't exist.
Like the only time me and Jonathan have ever interacted in game was at Jumptown, and we I don't remember which Jumptown it was, but we ended up getting, as fights always do, you end up getting pulled away from the surface when we were up in space, and we didn't fight for that long because obviously you know, my group isn't that experienced, but I end up just getting frustrated with the fight because it was just, I think it was my fault for flying too fast, but we eventually got up to those speeds that are just ridiculous. And then jousting started happening, and it was one of those things.
For the love of fucking God. I swear, when this flight model changes, people stop complaining about jousting. Jousting is a valid fucking combat tactic. The problem is, jousting turns into the placebo effect of fucking where people get faster and faster and faster, and you think people are jousting unintentionally or intentionally or whatever, but it's actually you just literally fucking gone too fast, too furious, and you don't realize it. But if you actually joust correctly in atmosphere, you can massively throw somebody off on their flight pattern. And it just pisses me off that it's just like griefing, it's just... Stop using it as an excuse that you have no awareness of speed.
Things were like, I felt if I was gonna have any fun, it was commit, but when I commit, I'm dead. So it was just like, this blows. And
yeah, and you're forced into it yourself. Like, it's,
yeah,
you know, if you want to play honorably, you lose. You know, it's what it comes down to. So,
exactly.
Honorably?
And,
Play honorably?
I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. It was a tweet from Gabby, who's another streamer in the Star Citizen community. And I just realized that I never introed Hannah or Xperia 888 because you're not on the screen and I'm looking at the screen. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
We had a bunch of things, guys. I'm so sorry. Let's go ahead and stop right there and do that. Xperia is on the line up above me here.
This is I'm trying to work out this one.
And I didn't go past me to go up to you. I'm so sorry. So Xperia is actually in Mongrel Squad with...
This is what I thought, right? So why are there two Mongrel Squadron people on this thing, right? This is what I don't get up with this lineup that Salty did, right?
Go ahead and kind of give yourself a little intro. So I have, we weren't expecting to have Xperia on.
Interdiction specialist.
Letty was maybe not going to come on, so we had Xperia ready to go. But
oh,
then we were like,
right, okay, right. That explains it.
And have as many
fine.
roundtable as we possibly could. So go ahead, intro yourself. Who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen and stuff like that? Why would you be here?
A backup.
Yeah, I'm a small sort of content creator. I don't make many videos, but I do a lot of piracy. I'm part of Mongrel Squad, which is Agents' org.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I see that name, I just want to see Agent.
I do a bit of combat lately. No, that's basically it.
She is one of our best Mantis pilots. So when it comes to pursuing targets and chasing them down to pirate them, like, she is one of the go-to people when it comes to that. So she's selling herself a bit short there.
Of course. I was gonna jump into it and be like, stop it. The thing that I've seen from you, Xperia, is your YouTube channel, and same with Letty and Jonathan as well. Obviously, everybody here is a content creator from all different levels and doing different types of content. And the thing
he does the best podcast. Virgil has the best podcast out of anyone.
If you guys haven't watched yet, it's addicting.
But he doesn't do them often.
Rabbit holes and watch a lot of the videos.
And he's a swine because of that.
You guys really should. It's group piracy. But what I've seen on Xperia's channel is the solo piracy experience, which is actually really, really, really cool. And I think that maybe you could probably speak to this.
I'm an amazing Nox pilot. Recognize me. Yeah.
You've done a lot of pirating people like myself. We've actually had a little run in at one point, a little bit different than the scenario that I'm bringing up.
I'm kind of done with this shit.
Game, but then we'll go around again and we'll talk.
Is that to me?
Why it's better or not?
Is that to me?
Yes.
So if you're in Lyria, and you're just solo and a prospector, as a pirate, if you're running solo or with maybe one person, there are only really two ships are useful right now for solo piracy, and that is the RSI Mantis and the Cutlass Blue.
Yeah,
because the QED is just, it makes such a big difference in piracy. You could,
I
it's
wouldn't
kind of a
raid Mike
required,
anymore. No, I like side
if you
Mike.
can't tackle, you can.
Right.
like
I'm getting past this because no joke, I don't want to fucking
These guys are
hear.
going to be struggling to intercept people on lanes, really, if they're quantum boosting to locations rather than, you know, jumping from normal locations.
Yeah, let's go back to
Alright,
this.
guys, is the thing
that go away. You don't need any sort of warning to do that.
Yeah.
And you
And-
can't even
and-
tell when a ship is quantum traveling.
yeah, and like
That's true.
one thing that's worth mentioning, and I wanted to make sure that we, you know, talk
Go
to this
from
with
here,
the
'cause
pirate
again,
guys,
like, it
is
just-
the quantum.
Everyone knows how a
boosting, right?
mantis
So, like,
works.
you know, if we're quantum boosting around the place instead of going to these OM markers, then that hurts the bubble gameplay even more, doesn't it? Like you guys are going to be struggling to intercept people on lanes, really, if they're quantum boosting to locations rather than, you know, jumping from normal.
See, this is right. So, if anybody actually plays EVE Online, Elite Dangerous, there's always a place to capture people, right? The lanes that we have in Star Citizen right now are a fucking joke, and they should never even be considered, you know, where you capture people. The moment that you capture somebody should be when they're like warping to an outpost or you're near an outpost. But then CIG have these really shitty mechanics where you can't activate the dampener or the fucking snare within certain ranges and yada yada yada. So that's the shit part of the actual mechanic. But in EVE Online, you could always get around somebody doing what people are doing in Star Citizen. You would always catch them at bottlenecks, so jump to jump, or in an asteroid belt, or something like that. There was always a way to come into another location 100 kilometers, or if you're somebody like me, I had super bookmarks, which would bring you at 500 meters. 500 kilometers, so you could literally look down on the gate to see if there was anybody there and stuff like that. This is going to happen in Star Citizen regardless of what any changes that CIG do. You have the ability to do it right now. You literally warp to somewhere, cut your warp to somewhere, warp to somewhere, and you start creating completely off-grid fucking lanes that you come into. So there should never be a give a fuck about that right now. The idea is that you want to capture people when they're not moving around, and that's what we lack the ability right now. We don't have ships that can tackle, and we only have like the interdictor stuff, you know? Exactly. Bookmarks is as well planned for Star Citizen, so I'm going to be able to create off-grid bookmarks. And the only place that you're actually going to get me with like a mantis, which is technically like an interdictor in EVE Online that drops the bubble, is when you're actually on me. Or I warp directly to you. You know what I mean? You don't camp the lanes that are in between, you camp the final area basically. The jump gates, the actual point of interest and stuff like that. So, for example, instead of like trying to catch the lanes, you would just basically be camping the outpost and maybe put your bubble up on that. Now, we do know that Hard Armistice is going to go eventually, and hopefully you can make the bubbles and stuff go down
locations,
more, you
right?
know?
Like, you can do this stuff manually. Doesn't that make it harder to predict and try to catch people and intercept them with these bubbles?
I mean, so it all depends on how far you can quantum boost, because in the CitizenCon they said only 50,000 kilometers or so.
500,000.
That
Anything
seemed to be
longer
the
than that-
max. And what ship
Yeah.
they were using a Cutlass, and the max it showed on screen, I think, was 25,000.
Yeah, so I think, and they said longer than that, quantum drive is as normal. So I think people will use quantum.
50,000 kilometers is still a fuck.
Said 500,000, by the way.
Lord.
So
yeah,
if you're,
but it's
if you're
not
snaring,
the distance between two moons. It's half the distance
No,
between two
sorry,
moons.
but I'm talking like, you know, getting to like an outpost on a moon and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
yeah.
it also depends. Can we interdict ships who are quantum boosting?
Yes, it's just...
we-
The only difference with quantum boost to our warping right now is that we have the ability to control the quantum boost. Basically drive the ship like Supercruise, but it's exactly the same thing. It's the same with QCM. It's all to do with using the warp drive, as they've said, CIG said. So in reality or speculation, whatever you want to fucking do it, anything that interdicts right now in Star Citizen shuts down you being able to go fast, being able to do the quantum boosting, all that jazz. They've literally said it on many Discords that this is the plan for it. You know? So again,
Yeah,
this is where like information just goes so walkies and stuff like that, you know?
With QED, that was.
CIG should never give out information without a fucking document, you know, that some people can read and make sure that it's. Because again, it's like, oh, did you see that guy? He was a chicken. Oh, I thought he was a pig. No, I heard he was a goose. And then it just fucking spins around on multiple fucking platforms, and everyone doesn't know what fucking animal is what, you know?
We were told that by Winters at some point. As in the K Winter, the CIG dev.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
We don't know beyond that what QED will do for the new system.
Yeah, so I was going to mention that.
Because most likely the QED is going to be replaced with something that works with the new system. So it's an obvious one, right?
It's going to be mostly the speculation show.
Yay! Thank you, Salty.
We were supposed to get.
Should have had that right at the start, dude.
The vehicle experience team on Star Citizen Live, and I think a lot of the questions that
that's the biggest thing, right?
Or the things that we would be
is that people are just constantly fucking making up shit
yesterday. And that just didn't happen, unfortunately, for whatever reason. And a little disappointing, but we planned the show and we're still going to have it. And we'll speculate more this time, and maybe we'll get together when we know more in a few months or a month or whatever, and see how things have turned out. I think that would be pretty healthy and fun to do as well. But go ahead. I'm going to try to speak as little as possible this show and just take things in. I think
so. With regards to the concept of like the quantum boosting,
he does that fucking camera is insane.
Like, there's more involved with piracy than the.
I think I know how he does it as well.
Target, like, we got to find them first before we can even start intercepting. So, like, we'd be scouting around to the locations where we know we'd be finding them. Whether or not we'll be able to detect ships moving in quantum boost is, up to CIG. They have mentioned in the past that they wanted players to.
Where is it here? Where are they? The need for speed.
So you can go a little bit faster with a little bit more accelerations when you need to, but you know that it is a limited resource and you should use it carefully.
Specifically, the boost space is interesting for space
point. So at any point you want to kind of boost. So we've created this feature called Quantum Boost, which is available in the quantum mode, and you can access it at any point. So at any point you want to kind of boost towards your location that you're kind of looking at, but it's just too far away. And this boost is available for a limited amount of time, and it's purely on a
just in case people don't know what's been discussed.
Just to give you like a ballpark, quantum boost will allow you to go to a target fast if it's within, let's say, 50,000 kilometers, whereas you will use quantum travel to do very long range jumps between planets. So quantum mode allows you to go very fast with
of higher range was on the Chris Roberts one.
When you want to zip really fast over a planet.
Watch the Chris Roberts one, and you saw them doing way more than the distance.
To quickly go between points of interest, which are rather close to you, and it allows you to travel long distances between planets and large-scale stellar objects. But it comes at a cost.
This system is pretty much like what we have, warping to OM, warping to teammates around planets, all that stuff, you know? So anything quantum is the quantum drive, and then you have the thrusters. So SEM mode is the thrusters, anything quantum is going to be on the quantum drive, which is why you can't quantum boost with, and I can't remember where they said it. I would have to, like, obviously just take this as a grain of salt because I don't know a location where you can, where I saw it. But they said that ships like Merlin's will not be able to quantum boost because they don't have a quantum drive, or they can't get up to QCM because they don't have a quantum drive. So Merlins can only go at SCM speed because they only have thrusters. But then stuff like the Pisces, which technically is a snub fighter, can warp, you know. I don't know why they call it a snub fighter. They should really just change it as like a utility vehicle or something like that, instead of snub being where like the Argo and stuff, you know. So instead of you having to just look at an OM and warp around, you decide where to go and drive it around, but you still have to lock in. If you actually see here, right, so when Yogi's talking about it, you literally see right here. Right, look. See, can I actually get this time right?
A ballpark quantum.
Right, here. See all these? They're just not labeled yet because they're in the design phase. But these are OMs. These are OM points to warp around in. So you're basically queuing up your quantum drive to quantum boost. And when you go and highlight these locations, watch it target on the right here, okay?
Boost will allow you to go to a target fast if it's within,
so you boost,
let's say, 50,000 kilometers.
And that's just warping without. But watch here.
You will use quantum travel to do very long range jumps between
I think it's
planets.
this one.
So quantum mode allows you to go very, very fast with up to like 1200, 1400 meters per second when you want to zip really fast over a planet. It also allows you to...
Yeah, so now you can see that they've locked on to this particular point. It's not labeled, but on the blue, it gives you the distance, and then you got the minigame icons, which is, this is your fuel amount. This is to do with, like, the time, I think it is. This tells you the distance, and the green goes to red if you've been a naughty boy, right? No, I actually think it's really good, Heavy Bob. It's really good. I'm sick and tired of fucking... automatic warping, automatic fucking weapons, fucking fixed assist, gimbal assist, landing assist, can't get out of my ship assist without having to hold a button down assistment, ladder assistment, drinking assisting, you know what I mean? It's just, it's enough, right?
To do quantum boost, to quickly go
so again,
points
and then you play with the minigame, you gotta go into the circle and stuff like that.
And it allows you to go...
And this might change, all of this is just saying...
between planets and large-scale stellar objects, but it comes at a cost. Your capacitor.
So that is basically what they're talking about here, the new boosty system.
To be able to detect ships in quantum travel, so that could also apply.
Now, if I remember, Letty is talking about where detection, we don't really have that where we can probe, we can scan players down, but in the Chris Roberts segment, they do show this mechanic again. Let me see if I can actually fucking find that, just so we've got a reference on it. And I'm pretty sure it shows them pinging sites. And this could be a thing where you can warp to it. Let me just see, what was it? Which one was it? Fucking ships. It might be where we have to watch the whole fucking... Yeah, I'm gonna just skip to the end. Fine. Chris Roberts.
Yeah, page, so...
Sorry, I'm gonna just pulse through this, guys. My stream might lag.
Absolutely extreme athletes. They're not just, they don't just go get in the car and like the car does everything.
I don't even want to listen to this, babe.
Development.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
So you look at
come on.
Over here, now I can get up higher now, which is.
This is why people need to start doing chapters in their videos, man. Even for Star Citizen.
Select it, and you should just go. I want to look at the green ship. I'm going to pick up.
Challenging.
A little bit.
Yeah. That's some
on scanning.
You know, like skip super forward.
Alpha, you know, moving the.
Oh, that's 10.
I want to. I'm going to be on something. You're
right. Okay. On that one. Does anybody remember which point it did? They showed the warping on the Chris Roberts part. Because it shows the distance as well. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Right. So
the altar.
this is what Letty's talking about. Where
Okay, I'm going to go to now around the detect play that can happen in space now because of a bit more and have that idea of, oh, I can detect something, I want to investigate it. So the whole sort of exploration,
you talk about it, right?
Gameplay that can happen in space now because of these different modes of travel and
scanning
is going to be a huge deal.
So when Letty's like, we're wanting to be able to, God, here we go. This is gonna be funny. So Letty's talking about scanning players and being able to detect them and stuff. They literally said it in this segment here, and they show you.
We have a clip for this for folks who maybe
just in case anybody missed out on it. Now all they have to do is incorporate this with players, right?
On YouTube, and you don't know what this looks like. Let's take a look at the quantum boost clip that we have.
So here you go. See where pinging, right?
Call out. That's going to be the old HUD.
Yeah, that is the altar. That's too busy.
Right, that's the next old.
So there you go.
Yeah.
The ping has detected anomaly or whatever. God, I can't even say that word. I apologize. But it shows you locations, right?
Here, that's also the old point of interest, because the point of interest will be just
this is
points.
where
but basically we've done
hopefully we'll be able to detect, right? And then it shows you here that they're going to warp to this point of interest through quantum boosting. Now right now we don't have it. If you detect somebody out in space, like, you know, whatever, right? You can't actually get to them. You have to slow boat them to it. People chasing after bounties know this one pretty well and stuff like that. So this shows you, obviously it's not confirmed, but it shows you that they have been thinking about, we've detected something at long range. It's within 13,000 kilometers, right?
Multiple.
Now let's quantum boost to it.
You see the distance there? It says 13,000 kilometers on the right-hand side. So this is obviously just placeholder.
And there you go. This could be where you could warp to a player,
boost over there,
right? And then you got to play the mini game and stuff like that. So in the future, what Letty is asking for or discussing, I'm pretty sure they're already on page with this, because if they have the ability to detect like derelict sites and things like that, it's not hard for them to go, right, well, my Carrick or Terrapin has advanced fucking radar scanning suite. Boom! Oh, I've discovered a player 50,000 away. It could be just a ship, but it detects it, and then pirates go, ooh, that sounds good, you know? Not difficult for them to add it in then, you know?
But then, like, the current gameplay doesn't really facilitate being able to intercept somebody who is in quantum boost to be able to pull them out or anything like that. So far, all we know is that you'll just be able to stop people from entering, you know, was it QCM? So
but again, this is where we have to look at it. Even in EVE Online, you can't pull people, like, you can grab them to a certain degree when they're in warp, but they have to come to the location that you're at to grab them. So, you know, if you've got a game like EVE that doesn't incorporate this stuff, what were people expecting to do? Were they expecting to fucking, oh, somebody's warping to me? Fucking lock on. Okay, right, you're fucking disabled, you know? I don't even have to do much to it. I just look at you kind of thing. You know, that obviously I don't think that's what Letty's going on about. But for me, as somebody that played EVE, it was about capturing somebody when you see them. Capturing somebody when they're in warp and they're bouncing around and they finally get to their final destination, you grab them. You know what I mean? Sinofields, yeah, camping Sinofields, stuff like that. Like for me, I never had in the mind that it would be like, oh, somebody's warping around the moon. I'm going to grab them whilst they're in warp going around an OM point. You know what I mean? It's just... only being here for about 10 minutes. How does the mini game work? Oh, sorry. Let me quickly go back on that one. So, see here, with the points. So, if we go back just a few seconds then. Right. So, you look at, say for example, you're going to do like an OM1 to OM5 right now, Wob for real. You would basically press your warp drive, you would look at OM5, say you're at OM warp, and you would just straight beam it, right? Or you go to an outpost and you fly around the planet and stuff. Now what's going to happen is obviously you are going to engage warp to go to that location, but you have to play a mini game of flying it. So first of all, you see the wee dots going around here, green dots. That's the circle you just have to fly your ship in. And at the top bar here on the green, that says you're good. You're very close to the center. you know, you're not going to fall out of warp anytime soon. The blue bar here, obviously this is just a design, this could change in the future. The blue bar here, or the cyan bar, is your fuel, so basically how far you can actually go to. The dark blue bar here is distance, so it would be a full bar and then it just goes drop as the closer you get to. And the orange one, I believe going by is like to what's it called, spool up and lock on basically. So whilst you're flying, you have to keep inside this ... circle until you get there and hope you've got enough fuel. That's the mini game. It's not difficult. If you played Elite Dangerous, it's basically Super Cruise, and you have to sort of like slow down and do all these kind of things. Now this looks more automated than Elite Dangerous, but it's just basically you're on OM1 and you want to warp to an outpost. You go down and you've just got to basically stay in this circle as it automatically flies around the planet, but you stay in this like tube basically, if you think about it. And if you fall out of it, you just come out of warp. That's it. So just like us cancelling warp or powering down our ship right now is the same effect if you fall out of this circle. It's very, very easy. And I don't think anyone should really freak out about it, because again, it's just to give you the sense of you're in control going around, you know? No. It's only for short distance. So when you're warping from celestial object to celestial object, it's manual warping, but instead of doing OMs and outposts and bunkers, that's the mini game, right? They say 50,000. It goes up to like 500,000 depending on, you know, whatever range, kilometers, yada yada yada. They'll adjust it there and then. It might be where they'll set it to like 100k, or maybe they'll make it 50k. Maybe they'll make it where you could only blind warp at 50k, and maybe you have to lock in for 100k. Whatever, you know, the numbers are up for grabs. I don't think anyone should care about kilometers, speed, anything like that just now. Just the idea that you're in a little bit more of control. Like, again, you autopilot through the atmosphere. Now you're going to have to... You're doing the same line, but you're actually flying it through atmosphere at high speed, you know? And that's all the system is. Super, super easy to do.
Quantum control.
Obviously, if you're completely dreadful at flying, maybe hire somebody.
Mode. By using your quantum...
I think everyone should be able to do it.
And currently it's only 2 ships. However, they did mention that interceptors are supposed to be the ships that are designed to do this type of role.
I think interceptors are going to have a weapon that can stop you from QCMing,
you know,
to be honest.
To prevent them from escaping.
Or maybe not warping.
With that in mind, like, being able to, you know, chase targets down is one thing, which is, you know, a pretty big part of piracy when we first start attacking someone.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, like, you know, targets trying to escape, right now it's just, you know, max speed, go as fast as you can.
It's so bad for people who do piracy.
Patches,
it's a joke.
You know, rely on desync. And they'll still do this even when you got QED. A lot of players don't know what QED is, so quantum enforcement devices. They've never encountered it before. When they do, it's an NPC and they just boost past it and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, they're out of range within 30 seconds. So when they actually engage with players who are using it and chasing them down,
it's just all F4.
It's just max speed, you know, try and go as fast as they can. Alt F4ing, you know, combat logging has become really big in the last 6 months.
We regularly get called cheaters for using QED.
Oh, yeah.
We regularly get called cheaters for using QED. How a device that CIG built and developed for a purpose in the game is called cheating? What low form of IQ is coming from... Oh, Jesus. Why? It's like griefing and fucking all this other shit.
Because they actually don't understand. Yeah, you guys...
Yeah.
You guys, everyone in this channel right now, besides me, and even me at Jumptown one time, was just called griefers. Shit, like we've all got.
I want to know who said
that.
Got
the titles.
Oh, ambulance. Yeah.
Fixing it all.
I mean, Interceptor and Interdictor is literally in the name. Exactly. But Interceptor doesn't have a role right now. Interdictor does. It's the Mantis, and For the love of Gypsy Danger, I don't understand why they put so many prison cells in the Cutlass Blue and they didn't give it a fucking actual QED device like the Mantis. That drives me nuts, because they could have made it where it's like a 30-kilometer one because the Mantis goes faster or something like that. Just... It's annoying. For me, I would actually love to see it where the snare stops people warping and the dampener stops people going to QCM. That would be my want, you know what I mean? That would be cool, because then you gotta have like 2 ships to do that kind of stuff.
But like,
you know?
okay, so like think of it this way, right? Like if... Where's the act of piracy supposed to happen? When you catch them, is it supposed to be en route?
I got interdicted by Isperia once. And I can't remember if I decided to start shooting at Hannah or Hannah moved away or something like that. But Hannah's really, really good at interdicting, like, between warps and stuff like that. I've caught a couple of people between warps, but I never really do this sort of gameplay, so I wouldn't say that I know Cutlet worked out the distances and stuff like that, and he's got a video out on YouTube about it. But anytime I see like, say I'm in an arrow and a Mantis, Mantis pulls me out of warp and they got no support, I'm just like, alright guys, you're just like fucking buzzsaw, you know? You're now in the ring with me. You brought me to the ring, you don't know who the fuck you just brought into the ring, you know? Especially when Arrow versus Mantis, you know, the Mantis struggles against that kind of shit. But it's a cool feeling, like, it's really cool.
Letty, that it should be while they're doing the activity? You know, like, where do you foresee where you're going to be catching these guys? Because that's what my concern is. I feel like, you know, catching people in travel is probably now going to be the hardest it's ever been, and maybe...
I don't think you're going to get people in travel. I generally feel they're going to go with EVE Online, where you have to intercept them on their start location and their end location, and that's it. I don't think capturing people in a lane of sorts is going to ever work in a game like Star Citizen. There's too many possibilities of route, and especially with the way we have right now. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen me guys do it. It's just like, say for example, Anu is chasing me. I do a 3-point save spot where Anu will never ever capture me. Never. You know what I mean? So you basically warp to a celestial object, you cut warp, you warp to another celestial off point, cut warp to another one. It's impossible to triangulate that. The only way you can do it in EVE Online to cut people's safe spots are you have a probe and you play the probing minigame and you find their exact location and you warp to them and you intercept. But right now we don't have that in Star Citizen, so if I don't want to be caught, I can literally go to a point in this game where it will take you years to find me. You know, if obviously like the game doesn't kick me off for AFK and stuff like that. So I would never think that until we get like a probing setup like EVE and games like that, I think everyone should forget about lane capturing. It should always be at the start location and the end location of somebody jumping, like it is with EVE. Because even in EVE, you set up a location, you pull them to you, and it's kind of like what the Mantis just now. It just doesn't do it as a, like, the mathematics just don't work in for it. Hey, Ondo, how you doing? I own a Mantis and have yet to pull out. It's something to do with distance between the location you're at, you know what I mean? Because you're wanting it where, say there's the sphere there, people sit like in the middle and you don't get anyone that way, Captain Willie. It's, you have to capture them like, I think it's like 20k or something like that before they actually arrive on location. And obviously when the moon and like, you want to be... Cutlet's got a video on it where you need to sit as the moon rotates. Basically, you're not on the OM point, you're just off it. So anytime somebody warps to it, they're always landing in your location. Basically, it's scuffed, and you can do that really easily actually just now. But the problem is getting to that location takes some time and setup. But to be fair, if you're able to snare people all the time, I kind of feel like, again, this is... We've already got the mechanics. They just need to make it where you're unable to just fucking boost away. Because that's the thing. If you get pulled out of warp and you're in a fighter, nobody is stopping you. You're away from the mantis. The mantis, when it's got its snare up, is lit up like a Christmas tree. Just dump your fucking missiles on it. It can't do shit. It's flaring out and getting popped, and you just fly and warp away, right? And when a cutlass is doing it, it's like, yeah, whatever, fucking gone as well. But if they have something that actually stops you from moving into like QCM, which would be what the Mantis does, I think capturing people is going to be a lot easier because they won't be able to go fast and they won't be able to warp. And if you have to do it with two Mantis or like a Cutlass Blue and a Mantis, say it works that kind of way, that would be an easy way to do it. And capturing people is going to be a lot more easier because it's not capturing them in between the lanes. It's when somebody decides to go fucking batshit crazy.
But maybe piracy is going to shift in the direction.
But if an interceptor has the ability to maybe like fire a weapon or charge it like an EMP and you fire at somebody's pip and it shuts their quantum down for a few seconds, that would be really, really good. Because then the player has the ability to dodge it, but if you're in a bigger ship, you need gunners on point to stop people chasing you.
QCM, I see like the new master modes that we're getting. The way I see it is that this is a step towards trying to push piracy out onto trade lanes.
Not so much piracy. They also showed off that they wanted to have boarding. You know what I mean? Like piracy obviously is a big thing, and obviously Letty's talking from Mongol Squadron where they're pirates and stuff, but my way of looking at it is it's not just piracy, but if, say for example, you're a bounty hunter and you want to get on a criminal ship and you have it disabled, you know, you're not really pirating, you're boarding to get that individual that's hidden on the ship, because you know you're not going to crack through the hull or anything like that, right? So I feel it's more of just being able to engage the boarding mechanics, not so much focused on one area, right? Because they all connect to it, but we should always remember that flight in general, even though it's like people are like, oh, for PvP or per PvE, it all comes back to flight. It's the same for boarding, that boarding is connected to flight, where if flight is too fast and too jittery, there's no way you're ever going to pull off. And we talk about like the interstellar movement in the movie, you know what I mean? The fucking thing's spinning around and he's fucking counterclockwise in it and then fucking getting into the same time frame as it to lock. Like, for us to do that in Star Citizen, you'd have to be fucking mathematical genius and have some sort of fucking AI bot doing the other fucking stuff for you. Because as humans, we ain't doing that shit, you know? That's just insane kind of timing. So Star Citizen, with everyone moving around at 1,000 meters a second, it's impossible to do that shit, especially when people are spinning. Now, if you have it where people are only moving like 100 meters a second, I can pretty much fly up beside somebody at 100 meters a second and have some sort of ramp sitting on it. You know what I mean? Even if they're drifting, long as they're not fucking going wee, because again, you would have to go wee as well with it. So I feel it's more they're slowing things down to help with the calculations, help with boarding, help with general flight, because maybe sometimes when people are taking off, they decide to go fucking Dominic Toretto, dump the fucking nitrous oxide, and they go straight into the side of the station, get a crime stat for fucking ramming it, you know? And they were just wanting to fucking, they had Top Gun blasting at the top of the volume, you know?
Would actually be, you know, stationary for long periods of time. And the reason behind why I think that is that in an area like Stanton, like you got the Comrades, you got security outposts, you got
exactly, exactly. How you doing, Chief?
And all that. Those are all influencing factors on, you know, pirates moving through areas. Realistically, we don't want to be encountering security. We don't want to be limited by any sort of security forces there. And in the current form of the game,
that's why you pyro in
matter. Now,
pyro. Yeah. Pirate and pyro.
Like we already do it now, where we go to the outpost and we'll intercept people as they're leaving the armistice zone. You know, like we know all the green zone distances for using the snare and the dampener, and you know how far we need to be. We know the.
I don't think they should have ranges personally.
All the planets.
They need to like so allow you to just lock it down.
We've got to be able to intercept a target so that we can prevent them from being able to enter quantum travel and turn it into a SCM chase. And with the master mode, it sounds like they like, and this is a concern that a lot of people are having. And you know, if you were paying attention to Spectrum, it was on fire pretty much after CitizenCon.
Yeah, but that happens with everything, right? Everyone goes nuts for some reason.
QED forcing ships into, you know, was it standard control mode, where they couldn't go past a certain speed, and essentially locking them into a, the potential scenario where they're going to have to fight their way out. Like,
but again,
in the
that's
current
like
iteration of what we have now when it comes to security presence, the armistice zones and all that sort of thing, that's going to be the most likely thing that's going to happen. But
it's not, because again, the only thing that these guys said was when you go over SEM speed, your capacitor stops recharging. So you have no ability to recharge your weapons and stuff. When you go into QCM, it shuts these systems down. You can't use your boost, you can't fire your weapons, you can't countermeasure because you're using all your power and your shields slowly deteriorate as you're going faster and faster and faster because you're building up that speed. You're directing all power to your thrusters and your quantum drive to get you up to that 1,000 meters a second so you could go back in time to the fucking 80s, and rescue Doc or whatever the fucking movie, right? But they said when you're in SEM, you can hold your afterburner down and get up to fucking speed, to move out of the way and stuff. It just means you can't recharge the boost. And this is a lot of the problem where people are just going off the wall. They only said your fucking capacitor system shuts down. They never said you're not, you know what I mean? Like you're stuck in these sort of two modes. No, you can transfer in between the two modes. You just can't do it as frequently as you do just now. Like if you think about it, you can literally go SEM to maximum speed back to zero, maximum speed back to zero, and you got no negatives apart from time. All they're doing is just making it where you can't do these choices. Like you have to go, I'm in SEM, I'm going to use my boost, navigate, shields, recharging, oh fuck yeah, woo! We're fucking flying around. It's like, oh shit, time to fucking go. Right, I'm gonna use all my boosts. Right, my shield's a bit fucked. It's not regenning, but it's still there. Right, I need to get up to fucking 70 miles per hour to go back in time. And it's like, there's the QEM or whatever, and it's just like, right, I need to dodge this or shut it down. But we have no idea of what happens when the QEM goes over SEM speed. You know what I mean? They may tie the QEM into systems. They could change it from shields. When you move the power triangle to shields right now, it could be like Elite Dangerous where they decide to change it to systems, and that has a cause and effect where the bubble starts to shrink as you go faster and faster and stuff like that, which allows you to get away if you're faster at it. All this does is just really make it where whoever has faster reactions and stays on point of the situation is in a more positive place than people who are just literally dribbling on a keyboard and mouse,
In an area like Stanton, you would expect that you'd be able to call on security forces,
Yeah, but once they go super fast, you can't shoot them. Yeah, but that's the point of the game, dude. Is that if somebody actually escapes you, then fucking bravo to them, You need to have every player having a chance to escape. But if you come against a competitive team that have the tools and they organize around actually wanting to stop you, right? Then you have to think a little bit differently with your playstyle. That's all this does, really. You come up against a competitive team by yourself, you're already screwed in this game. You might have a chance, and obviously Alt F4 is the valid tactic that people use, but at the end of the day, this new change just means where your situational awareness needs to be a little bit more. You need to react a little bit faster and not be like, well, I've got the oh shit, I can go fast, get my shields up mentality. And that's it,
If you don't have escorts or anything like that with you to
exactly
come to your rescue.
Yeah.
In which case, the pirates really are having to assess where they engage. So realistically,
if you're like right now you run cargo so blindly, so meaningless, A to B, stuff like that, and yeah, there will be lanes of least important. Like nobody is going to send a pirate team to grab something that is completely worthless, they're going to be trying to get the good haul from people, so it's time, risk versus reward kind of scenario, okay, like we had with old Jumptown. But if it's just normal laning, people like Letty are never going to waste their time on that. If they've got huge amount of mouths to feed, they're not going to waste their time just choking on shitty lanes, You'll be going after the good haul and wasting their time with that, or not wasting their time, but spending their time for that situation.
For us, even though like QCM can shape where we're attacking people, it's only a small portion of the bigger picture when it comes to piracy. And
the problem is speed. That's all it
is.
is.
Just an extra piece that pushes us further away from loitering around outposts. Because right now, with the way that we do it, we'll have like 5 or 6 ships just outside of detection range of a target, and we're all just there loitering, and then we see Hearson security rock up and they'll scan one of us, and we're like notorious pirates just waiting for this person to take off so that we can go pirate them. And
nothing to see here.
During piracy hits, yeah, exactly. During piracy hits, we'll be getting scanned. We've seen targets get scanned by Hearson security as well, whilst we're trying to pirate them. And realistically, that security, that NPC should be trying to stop us. It should be able to detect what's going on and go, okay, we got to stop these guys. And to make that easier for the NPCs.
Excuse me, 20 of you. Would you guys pull over so I could quickly scan this one individual? Don't mind the other fucking 19 around you. Oh, that's a nice mantis. I've got one myself. Yeah, the AI in this game are so dumb.
What's going on? Standard control.
Well, that's why they're redoing them all,
helps out with that a lot. And it, forces us into a position as well.
Like, the worst time I've had AI is I'm chasing after my bounty. So this is like the odd occasion when I'm blue and I'm doing bounty hunting and I've caught somebody and I'm shooting at the person and the fucking NPC warps in and tells me to fucking come to a halt. You know what I mean? It's like, why? Why the fuck are you pulling over the blue that has the mission to fucking chase after this person and shoot, and the NPC wants to scan you, and you watch the fucking red person warp away? Maybe you were speeding. It's so stupid. It's such a dumb fucking thing in this game.
Consider as well is that we're forcing our target into moving slower, but we're also moving slower as well. So if there's ever a counterattack coming, we're all moving slow enough that we can be engaged in combat as well. And during that time, that presents the opportunity for whoever we're trying to pirate to be able to get away.
Yeah. You gotta have counter gameplay.
The whole,
just not the way it is right now, where it's just
control mode,
an easy mode getaway.
Essentially negating a section of piracy. I don't see that happening. What I see it as is a potential opportunity for CIG to expand on, the chase when it comes to pursuing targets. Because this also applies to bounty hunting as well.
I still think you should have to quantum boost out of atmosphere,
and they need to be
before you do long distance warping. I would love this personally.
Right now, we'll also.
No, I don't have time for that, guys.
Absolutely, I was going to try
nobody
and
will
bring
come
that
on
up
the show
is
either.
People may think that this is all about, being
bit of a stretch to call it AI, and that's very true,
necessarily, but
Husker.
the
How you doing,
tactics
Chief?
are exactly the same for the bounty hunting side.
Roll a 20 this game.
I was gonna ask a question because I actually missed this from Winter.
Rock paper scissors. Who lets me go?
QED taking you down into SCM.
That would be funny.
Is, maybe some people that are watching have as well. Maybe missed that or didn't know that. And I'll pose this to Hannah and Jonathan. I know you've been missed for a little bit here. I'll get you in a second. Since
somebody's walking behind Jonathan,
a very experienced Mantis pilot, what kind of skill does it take to use that and to be effective in that? Because
has to be fast at using F and mouse control to highlight over snare or dampen. That's the qualities. It's so stupid that you have to do it this method. I don't understand why CIG didn't make it where you have a mouse button that can arm different QED modes or something like that. This whole you've got to shut it down on one way and you use F, and then it's so lazy over. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like hold shift and press the button or something. It's so stupid that you have to be like that part where it's like Homer Simpson at the controller and you're just like or somebody that's really slow at typing, they're like and they've got to look at it, It's such a silly fucking system.
As as a player who may not want to be pulled down into SCM.
Yeah, you just need to understand the distances and where people are trading.
In doing that, and is it possibly a balance that is going to be tough to balance and counterbalance when I'm trying to
one system I love in Elite Dangerous is when you actually try to snare people, you play a mini game of where you're chasing them through their lane, basically, and you've got to get closer and closer and tighter and people. Then there would be a skill in snaring people and doing that stuff. Because even if a plonker like me can grab a fucking mantis and stop people from warping or catch them in between Yella and Daymar, right? If I can do it, then anybody can fucking do it.
And you have a ship that can do this kind of special thing where I don't necessarily
that would be cool.
Without
if they had a ship that purposely pulls people out of warp, like chases after them in warp, would be cool.
How does it work? Explain it to me as somebody who doesn't know, and maybe others won't either.
So the mantis. I mean, right now, it's like
I'm gonna skip this on, guys, because no joke, I'm fucking bored about listening to this shit, right?
Scan down and locate. But I think it's going to be up to interceptors to actually.
Yeah, I'm like, this is so dull.
Comes to that kind of gameplay, and there's going to be ways to
similar to this, like that we for years now, and people still keep ignoring us. It's like use turret gunners, use SL, as that's how strong. You know, we can't. You're like 4 kilometers away out of
a blink of an eye now.
As well in the atmosphere, like on training area. For experiencing model currently, like you can't move as fast. Your cargo haulers have a lot more thrust power at those thicker atmospheres, so they are able to punch harder and move faster. So
to be honest, that's because ships don't have laden yet. You know what I mean?
Causing issues with the.
You've got bigger engines to push a heavier object through the atmosphere, even though it's fake. The problem is CIG just went, oh, you know what? Let's not even incorporate weight in the game. You know.
Try and gain elevation and come down, swoop down on them, just so that we. And during this time, the turret gunners have just free reign, like the ship can just go in a straight line. Like a Caterpillar is actually quite strong in this scenario if they've got turret gunners on it. And once the shield face starts getting low, just rotate the ship and you're back at square one.
But it's getting dry, Heavy Bob, because again, it's a lot of talk on the stuff that we currently have, and this is where again these sort of podcasts and stuff and everyone talking about it is. It's the same way we do things just now, just go to certain areas and you'll see how it will be more like, and then more speculation, theory crafting. What if we have this ship does this role, this ship fucking flies at this speed, yada yada yada. And again, they've only really just talked about the flight system. You need to sort of give CIG the time to be like, right, well, we only talked about how you're going to fly. All the other things that tie into it were not even started yet,
There's a mentality where people are still treating Star Citizen as a solo game. And
that's true. That's very much true. Like, there needs to be a place for solo for people to enjoy that stuff, but all the risk versus reward areas in this game have always been taken away. SBK back in the day, the Astro refueling place, you know what I mean? And then they took away Jump Town, the original Jump Town. They always take away hotspots. They're bringing it back in 3.18 for SBK, but to be honest, like, we'll see how that goes.
The irony is that Master Modes is going to be a bit of a wake-up call for a lot of this community, where it's like,
that's
okay,
exactly what Leigh's saying. Like, I don't think people understand the difference that this is going to cause for this game. And the crazy thing is, it's not really that much different than stuff we already have just now. It's just, you literally have it where you can do things in space so much faster because the game just doesn't calculate it. So master modes, like I said, just means that you have to have better situational awareness, and you just have to think a little bit faster than, oh shit, I can escape, or oh shit, I can Alt F4, oh shit, I hate this game, you know what I mean? Or let me go to Spectrum and start moaning about it. You just have to be like, Right, okay guys, today I'm going to do some trading. Alright, what I'm going to do, right, I've got this, I'm going to go with this. Anybody online to be gunners? No, there's no gunners available. Okay, right, well, instead of me taking my Caterpillar out, I think I'll take my Avenger Titan out and do it by myself, because I'm still going to make some money, and I'll wait for people to back me up online. That's the mentality. But you know what you have right now? Right, let's log into the game, get my fucking 890 out, my Carrack solo, start it up. Right, do I need gunners? Nah, no, nobody's gonna stop me. Alright, we'll land on the spot. Let me just fucking fill up the cargo. Oh, that'll take me a matter of 2 seconds. Right, cargo filled. Back into the ship. Oh no, I can't really be bothered to climb back into the ship. You know what I'll do? Fucking backspace, teleport into my Carrack, get into the fucking pilot chair, and I'm flying away, and then I'm dropping shit off. That's your gameplay loop right now for traders. Right? Because you don't need to do anything more. And I feel that when this changes, you're going to be like, you know what? I keep losing my Carrack whilst doing trading. Because I come in, I'm not able to go boomy zoomy. I'm captured by Letty and Hannah with their Mantis team. They've got a Legionnaire boarding me in the future. You know, I feel sexually violated because they didn't say please or didn't say surprise, whatever you want to meme with, right? And yeah, I think a lot of people are freaking out on Spectrum because they're worried that they're finally going to actually have to pay attention to this game instead of literally dribbling over keyboard to fly. And I think that's a good thing for the game, because you're never going to bring in new players if they're like, well, this game is so basic and arcadey that I got bored within 2 weeks, you know? It's a wild place, yeah. Hey, Mordos.
So you're going to have to fight your way out of it. Until
And there's no risk that parking these outposts, exactly. And even when they take away hard armaments and they put like turrets and stuff in, you know what I mean? A still group can come in and have a bait ship, take the turret flak, and then you have, especially if you've got A1s coming into the game, like next year, it's like, oh, I'll have somebody take the flak of missiles for a quick second. It's like, alright guys, bombs away. A1. Oh, I'm in my outpost with my Caterpillar trading. Oh, look, there's 2 A1s. Oh, look, there's 20 bombs. And there you go. Should have paid the fucking fee, motherfucker, as you're flying past, you know? That's gonna happen in this game, eventually. So, yeah, people hide around too many things, you know?
The rest of the systems that come in place for providing better security from the NPCs.
Yeah, exactly.
That sort of thing. You're going to have to, you know, take...
Because if they're redoing the AI, hope the fuck they're making them where they actually can help people.
Start using escorts. But then what they'll find is, like, it's actually fun. You know, it's engaging. It, you know, like, a lot of people... you know, that we do pirate that do manage to get away.
Hey, more
you
time.
can tell that they're happy. You know, like they'll start gobbing off and chat at us and, you know, telling us that we're shit. Normally it's one of us has made a mistake or, you know, stuff hasn't happened.
You're shit. Fucking Mangrove Squadron are shit. You heard it there. The leader says they're shit. I'm only joking about that one.
To prevent a piracy attack is quite easy and the tools are all there.
Exactly. People freak out, man. I literally talked about it. 3-point warping. You never get hit with anyone.
It's either everybody will learn to innovate.
Hey, Jace, how you doing, Chief?
Actually start doing the thing that CIG wants you to do, which is engage in the gameplay that
exactly. And when they take away Alt F4, you're fucking screwed, man.
Yeah, you gotta figure it out.
It's got so bad that the NPCs are Alt F4ing. Have you ever seen this, guys? So you take a mission, right? No joke. Any one of you, go and take a bounty mission for an NPC. Kill the Hammerhead, kill one of the escorts, and the fucking second escort Alt F4s. No joke. It fucking runs away, but it does it in the same method as Alt F4. You don't see it like flying away from you and it warps away. It fucking Alt F4s out the game. No wonder players of 2022 have gone, because again, this is something that I brought up on the channel. We've had the ability to go back to the menu in Alt F4 for like 6 fucking years, and for some reason, it's become a fucking trend in 22. And I bet you, it's because they saw the fucking NPC doing it, and then a content creator fucking did it. Probably Salty Mike fucking Alt F4ing, and everyone now does it, you know? And yeah, legitimate backstrafing because the NPCs fucking do it. It's mental. It's mental how that happens.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
You mentioned,
my. Go ahead, and then I'll
I
jump
was just
in.
gonna say you mentioned you guys like simulate it for practice, and it's probably important to note too.
Artificial intelligence.
Jumptown's coming up this week.
Chris
and,
Roberts did
the
first.
best organic simulation for what this is gonna look like is when Jumptown rotates the microtech. Like,
Yeah.
That's a really good taste test of what's to come. You know, those speeds.
Again, I've been showing you guys 2 weeks flying around Hurston.
It's a
Not
whole
doing it for
different
shits and
game.
giggles. It's just to get ready to be
when
slow.
The game rotates Jumptown to microtech. Like my guys, we bring different ships. You know, than if we were in these other weaker atmospheres where the speed.
You know, before they get rid of Alt F4, I think I'm going to on stream, because obviously I've got a streaming PC and a gaming PC. I'm gonna just, I'm gonna do this, right? Let me just quickly hide. Cam off, and I'll just go here like this. Power, I'm gonna fucking turn the PC off mid-combat, and that'll be the final thing for me on that one. When they remove it, the patch, before they bring it into the next patch or wherever it comes in, I'm gonna go and shoot Virgil and then fucking power down my PC mid-combat and see what fucking happens, right?
1200 bullshit. So yeah, like you're gonna get a good taste for it there.
Hey, you should be able to be in, yeah.
Like, you know, I think the entire meta of things will completely change with this for sure.
It will. It will, but also they'll have to change the
thing
weapons.
That I wanted to jump in with is it does feel to me, and this goes for any combat scenario, because one of the scenarios that I want to talk about, and it's the one where I was fighting somebody 1v1 and they're better than me.
That's all F4, guys.
More than I can chew.
That's Chris Roberts, all F4. This is where it started.
Or any situation where I'm engaged in combat, I have been tackled by a mantis. I've been.
That's awesome.
You know, so I can't leave with QT and all these scenarios. What do I as the player do once that's happened to me? In every other game, there's like a timer on these tackles. There's a timer on routes, so I get rooted for a period of time, and that gives the opportunity for everyone.
What fucking
to jump
game?
in.
What game has he played? Crap! I can't watch you stream because I need to watch this whole ATC in my time. Yeah, because you're editing as well. How you doing, Jack?
And kill that player, or if they don't, you know, use their ultimates or whatever. Like, obviously, Star Citizen is not a fucking MOBA, but in a lot of ways there's certain ships that are playing these roles, right? So it's hard not to make that comparison.
Playing a MOBA, what? And some of these ships behave. What's he talking about? Does anybody understand that one? Playing a MOBA. Why would a MOBA be compared to Star Citizen? Is it for map situation? Is that what he's talking about?
Playing these roles, fucking MOBA, but in a lot of ways, there's certain ships that are playing not, or if they don't, you know, use their ultimates or whatever. Like, obviously.
Ultimates? What the fuck does Mike want? I don't get this chat. I gotta go back.
So I can't leave with QT and all these scenarios. What do I as the player?
Has he been playing Overwatch recently? Is that what... Oh my god, I've been tackled! What do I do? Activate my ultimate mode. It's on a timer. Holds fucking Q down and activates. What's the one for fucking, who's the missile chick in Overwatch where she flies into the air, just fucking rains death from hell or whoever she says? That's it, right? That's what Salty wants. Farrah, yeah. Fucking death from above. Just fucking sprays an ultimate at people. That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Once that's happened to me. In every other game, there's like a timer on these tackles. There's a timer on routes. So I get rooted for a period of time, and that gives the opportunity for everyone.
Yeah, but that's diminishing return. Oh, he's talking about diminishing returns. See, CIG could do something like diminishing returns. Like if you had multiple tacklers, yeah, you could do something like that. But fuck, we go into a dangerous territory if you start putting diminishing returns on Star Citizen. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about when people spam stuns and roots and stuff in like World of Warcraft and stuff like that. You get like a diminishing return where you actually get to walk away from it. You know what I mean?
One to jump in.
That's where he's going with
that
it.
Player, or if they don't, use their ultimates or whatever, like.
I fucking love this. This is a great idea. I want my arrow to have an ultimate. It goes into super sexual pursuit mode and it goes super fast. This movie is so cool.
Obviously, Star Citizen is not a fucking MOBA.
Oh, he says not, right.
In a lot of ways, there's certain ships that are playing these roles, right? So it's hard not to make that comparison. Where's the balance in that? To me, it feels like the Mantis, even though there's definitely some skill involved to stay within that range, there's no like timer to the route. Would that be a beneficial?
The timer is like disabling and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, if that's again, I'm not 100% following Mike, but if he is on the topic of diminishing returns, like in other video games, I think that would be a very, very bad idea to add to Star Citizen.
Or would that be way too far in the?
The only way they could do it would be, say, a module overheats so much. Yeah, an arrow with spoilers. Yeah, exactly. My ultimate on cooldown. Help! Yeah, exactly. I like the idea of ultimates, but again, like with this sort of chat here, it's something where, you know what I mean, you don't see this in. You would see it in what's that fucking shitty arcadey flight game where you can literally make ships or planes spin on the spot and do stuff. It's Ace something or Ace you guys will know what I'm talking about. That shitty fucking flight game, you know? Ace Combat, that's it. Yeah. I believe it's called Daytona. Dude, Daytona is a fucking awesome game. Ace Combat, yeah. Thank you guys. So Ace Combat, you would expect meme shit like ultimates or diminishing returns, but for Star Citizen sandbox, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think it would ever be able to.
Who might want to disengage.
I think that would not, like, I know I might sound biased because I'm a Mantis pilot, but that would not be fun for me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, diminishing returns in Star Citizen would be colossal, you know?
I activate the snare. I then have, a timer until it turns off arbitrarily. I mean, if you have a stock Mantis, it will eventually turn off because of overheating, but like you can fix that pretty quickly by upgrading. But I don't want arbitrary rules like
exactly,
that.
Jace. Exactly. Yeah.
If you're
with the ultimate form.
Sorry, keep going. No, keep going. Sorry.
No, it was just
like, with the ultimate and then it goes to activate with some K-pop. Dude, I like K-pop.
Right now, you don't just wait in a trade lane waiting for things to come. You go out actively searching for targets, predict where they're going to go, and then set a snare. So you do normally have a good idea on how long you'll have until you snare them.
Yeah.
But,
see, this is the thing that a lot of people are also forgetting about is that, let's look at EVE Online. EVE Online requires you to fit modules around your CPU and your power plant, basically. Capacitor it's called. And in that, energy flows through the ship, and if you overdo things or, you know what, modules get damaged from overheating them, it has a cause and effect, okay? Star Citizen has power plants that never diminish, right? They literally allow you to fucking go absolutely batshit crazy, but the power plant never, it only has one state, right? Or two states, on or fucking off, right? We need it where, like, power plants, like, say for example, you're micromanaging way too fast and you're taking fire, shooting, trying to go fast. There needs to be some sort of, this ship has not got unlimited power to fucking do things. And that's where I think what Mike is talking about could be an element added into the game, where if you just push a ship too fast, too furious, you know, white vest, nitrous oxide, you burn your ship out basically.
And I would also let's rotate the clock forward a couple of years. Maybe we have server meshing. Maybe there's more players in a server. So it's less of that I've waited for hours upon hours upon hours to find somebody.
To be honest, it's more finding NPCs than players, because the moment that we get meshing and stuff, we get Quanta, and it's 9 NPCs to 1 player. You'll be lucky if you ever fucking find a player in this game.
And this is something that's happening more consistently, I would say. So
unless you're at like a major hub.
I've waited forever, and I feel like
Family,
hopefully that
family.
you guys have the, all right, we'll get him next time. Next target, kind of
we'll get him next time, Gadget.
Yeah,
next
I
time.
hope so for everybody too. But
I don't think I've ever said that to Fresh or anyone. Don't worry, we'll get him next time.
For me, that's the thing is, I don't want that to be a factor.
I need to start doing that. That's it. I need to bring this meme in. If anybody escapes me, I need to say I'll get him next time.
In that case, you also have to worry about like interdicting non-targets, like NPCs, so security maybe.
Yeah, but the thing is,
if you're just waiting that,
you're wanting to interdict them. This is the thing, right? If they do 9 NPCs to 1 player, this game is more about PvE than anything else. Or you could call it PvEX, you know what I mean? I can't remember what. Or it's like PvPXE, whatever the fuck people do in games these days. You're wanting to interdict an NPC, because an NPC eventually is going to have... no, he's not K Winters, he's a YouTube creator, and... Yeah, that's it, PvPvE. Like, if you interdict an NPC cargo ship, you're not going to go, it's not a player. Just let it go. You know what I mean? That would defeat the purpose of being a pirate, right? If you've interdicted an NPC, and it's a cargo ship, and you're like, no, it's not a player. That's definitely not on my list. And it could be full of money and stuff like that. That's where I would go with these things.
More of a chance of catching people. But I still don't think that a timer on the QD is a good idea.
Okay.
For that reason.
Mm-hmm. Even if it's
the reason you're
longer than like, a 5
exactly.
Second, like
Hold on, how you doing, Chief?
30, 40 seconds of...
Like, if I was doing piracy, and I came across, like, an NPC, and it had loads of fucking loot on it, would you care that it's not a player, right? Because the whole idea of doing piracy in Star Citizen, to what I think would be, is that you're after that loot. You know, maybe somebody wants to tie people up and do things to them, you know what I mean? Like, take them into a shower together or something, roleplay like that, whatever, if that's your piracy gameplay. But for me, if I was actually going to stop something, I'd be wanting the loot and that kind of stuff. Yeah, the NPC would be getting got, you know, I really wouldn't be picky about it.
Stuck for a while, and then there's a little cooldown, and maybe it starts back up. I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I don't actually necessarily think it's a good idea either.
But that's exactly it, Dutch. It's crazy, dude. You know? Want a button that allows them to never be checked or challenged by another ship. What always blows my mind with Spectrum, right? And I've literally just said it to you guys. There's going to be 9 NPCs to 1 player. Which means that down the line, you could be getting interdicted by an NPC. They could an NPC could disable you. An NPC then boards your ship, shoots you. What do you do when that happens? Do you go to Spectrum and go, guys, this fucking player group organization ganked the shit out of me. I'm fucking sick of this game. And CIG look at the stats and they go, it was a group of NPCs. What do you fucking do then? You know? And that's the thing is, we are not going to know if we're getting attacked by players or NPCs, because the idea is that it'll just say a ship or a ship name. It's not going to say DarkLaw is about to violate you and you'll hope that you've got a liter tub of Vaseline in the shower. You know what I mean? You're not going to have that unless like you have scanners and stuff. They've said this many, many times. So if people are worried about being PvP'd, no joke, and this is coming from somebody that likes to PvP, I'm more worried about getting ganked by an NPC in the future of Star Citizen than ever a player. Right now, if they do 9 to 1, I have more chance of NPC interaction than player. And why does anybody care about these small things where a player grabs, you know? It's just we don't have all these systems in it, so it's like...
You're asking this because you're weighing whether or not people should be able to outplay getting away from a mantis, right? Like that's what you're trying to get to.
Yeah, they should have
there,
it.
I want
But
there to be maybe a counter to that is similar in skill level to have.
He launches ultimate mode. Anti-mantis counter fucking ultimate engage. It's fucking it's balanced up. Oh man, I swear to God, if CIG has watched Salty talking about alties and they actually add alties to ships, I'm gonna flip out when this happens, right? Also, what did you say there with why were you timed out? Oh, what did you say? Alright, you said griefers. Yeah, you're not allowed to type griefers in my chat. Sorry. It's a banned word. Ganking.
Having to use a mantis. Some sort of something I can add to my quantum drive where I have a button I need to press but stay a certain distance away. Or
then we go into, like, EVE Online brought this out. So, originally, you could literally use, like, a point. They call it, like, a warp disruptor in EVE. Where you point somebody and they can't warp away. They can go fast, they can outfly you, but they can't warp away whilst you're holding this thing. It's like 15 to 35, depending on what module and all that stuff, on what ship. They brought out a device that goes in the lower slot that allows you, I can't remember, it's something stab, E-stab or something like that. And it allows you to warp away the moment, but it gives you an effect where it takes longer to warp, longer to target people, but you have the ability to just warp stabilizer. That's it. Thank you, dude. And it was shit. You would never use it because if you ever actually got caught by 2 points, it took you longer to warp and you couldn't target people as fast. It was just useless, right? So you only ever used it on like haulers to escape and blockade runners and stuff like that. So you were super, super fast at, or never being stopped. And then when you were bubbled, it didn't fucking matter. Now, to a certain degree, you could add something like that to Star Citizen, which was what Salty's going on. But again, if you are in a situation where you're 1v1ing and it's a mantis and stuff like that, if you're in a hauler, then you should have had a gunner, in my opinion. If you're in a fighter and you get caught by a mantis, well, you should be able to kill the mantis. It literally is a pile of shit in the current status of the game, you know? A few missiles and it's gone. And I would imagine that's the same in the future, that you're only going to ever be worried if you're getting attacked by like a dedicated group, and it's very, very often, you know? Nix is violating, yeah. What are you doing, Nix? He's got his little husky puppy. That was actually Elle's toy. And he seems to be out. What are you doing? It's funny, Melina, my mum's puppy, is just 6 months. She's about to go into her first season. Nix is already fucking dry humping her. And she doesn't know what the fuck to do. This dude is 8 weeks old. He's already fucking been a player. When she walks up and he fucking grabs her. He's fucking 8 weeks old and he's just fucking dry humping. He doesn't even have his testicles yet. He's an absolute monster. Aren't you? Yeah. Fucking chasing after 6-month pups.
Something, you know, like similar but opposite.
It's just going around the mantis.
In EVE Online, say you web like snare a ship, right? You know, that's gonna catch every Joe Blow. You know, like any guy with a normal fit is
What's
gonna
the snare range? So
by...
snare in Star Citizen is 20 kilometers and dampening is 2.5. But because of desync at high speeds, they sort of go out the window. It's the same with EMP. You can EMP at 500 meters on what you see, but when somebody's moving at high speed, you fire off the EMP at 500, it does fucking nothing. Because they're already 1,000 away, you know?
The counter to that, which is a warp
the server just takes a wee while to register
basically means you can't be snared, right? So like, and that's my question is maybe when you're not supposed to beat the mantis. Why? Because
right now, snaring puts up the 20-kilometer bubble, and it takes longer to charge and it takes longer to come down. Oh, sorry, when you bring it down, it takes longer to where you can fire off again. But dampening is pretty much turn on, turn off, and it's got a very short cooldown. But it's only 2,500 meters, you know?
Hannah here.
Snare is designed to pull people out of warp.
Much weaker ship.
Dampen is the meant chase after people.
Right?
You kill it.
know,
That's your.
Because you can still go crazy. Let me go for this. Penny Left, thank you very much for the 9 months. Appreciate it. Jice goes, bro, please, very easy, stop fucking putting easy ways out for Care Bears pirates. Yeah, exactly. Again, we've already discussed this, and most of these guys have said the same sort of thing. If you're up against a dedicated team and you're by yourself, it's the same thing if you go down, you've come out the club, you're all by yourself, you're swaggering around, you go down a dark alley and fucking 5 dudes come out with baseball bats. You don't go fucking, put your keys in between your fingers and start fucking windmilling at them, hoping for the fucking best. You start legging it the other way, you trip over, your pants fall down, this shit happens, right? That's just life for some people. But obviously, if it's 1v1 or like 2v1, obviously there should always be a way for somebody to escape. If you're up against a dedicated team and you're by yourself, you don't have escorts, you don't have gunners, that's on you, I kind of feel, right?
She's not in a Gladius. She's not in
Penny.
a Saber. She's in a Mantis with size 2s, right? Like, so maybe the answer to that question should be in the preparation before you started trading or before you started.
Exactly! This is what you do. Right, so in EVE, and I keep bringing up EVE because it's the closest thing we've got to how an actual sandbox MMO space sci-fi fucking video game actually works, and works very well. Even for people that don't want to get involved in PvP or go into fucking shit on everyone's space, and you stay in Empire space. The important thing is when you log into the game and you're in your dock, you don't ever undock from a space station unless you're ready to get fucked. That's just the mentality you have in EVE Online when you play it for more than a couple of weeks. Because after you've been fucking finger banged so many times by other players and you didn't consent to it, you have to understand that the moment you're about to do something, like Virgil's about to say, plan my route, check the map to see if there's any hotspots. Is there any fucking dad online to hold my hand across the road? All these things have to be worked out, but everyone in Star Citizen right now just goes, drool, smack head off keyboard, roll around on it, and hope for the fucking best. And this flight mode, these changes just require you to maybe not drool before you smack your head off the keyboard. That's it. Just be a little bit more conscious of what you're doing, not just, I've got Netflix open on one screen, or I'm alt-tabbing and I'm just manually warping here and there, and stuff like that, I mean, I've done cargo running, I've never been caught by a player stuff, because every time I've done cargo running, even in the guys in QQP will vouch for me, when we could do... so this is many, many years ago. When cargo running was really good at making money, we had a fully crewed Caterpillar, even for the basic of chores, of doing cargo stuff. Because we were like, well, we don't have many people to escort, so we would have a couple of lights, and everyone else was on the fucking Caterpillar and stuff like that, Well, Jice, I'm gonna put that down for you guys. There you go. There's the fucking announcement for ads, So again, it's the same thing within Star Citizen, what Virgil's about to go on. Just prep a little bit more.
That one of the 2 ships that evades you a lot is the Star Runner, right?
Oh yeah.
That? And isn't that considered like a blockade runner? So maybe that's the ship you're not supposed to beat. And if someone
exactly
picks that ship, they have the smaller cargo. Yeah, sure, in a sec. But say they pick that ship, it's got smaller cargo.
She's fucked down, Hannah. She's fucked down.
Making as much profit. But when you get caught, you're gonna outplay them because you made that sacrifice. Maybe the answer to that, Mike, is in the preparation rather than during
I completely agree with this.
Sure, and that's what CIG wants, right? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Xperia.
Okay, so yeah, I literally just made the exact point I was going to make. It's about the preparation when it comes to piracy. In a fight, in a combat scenario, do you really want the solo cargo hauler to have a chance against an organized pirate group of like 8 people.
I know,
with the
we're probably gonna
Mantis.
have to do this part-time.
No, not necessarily 8. But
just to let you guys know, obviously we're coming up for 2 hours and we're only 48 minutes deep, or 2 hours and 30 minutes. He is starting to get out of sleepiness, so we may have to make this part 2 and part 3 until, obviously, because he's had enough fucking the toy. Yeah, I know, and he is very awake. So I think I've only got probably about another 20 minutes before I will have to leave. So we will continue this, mark it down the time, and make it part 2 and 3 if need be.
I've played games where there's the
Well,
best can possibly survive that scenario,
yes,
right?
I would like that.
Like there has to be this sliver of an out. But
I
what
do
I'm
not
saying,
want automatic wins at all.
Probably don't even have 20 minutes.
No. Not automatic wins. It has to be like you have to be great, but you can. So that's all I'm saying, is that I don't want there to be automatic wins on your side either necessarily. And it feels like it could be that way, but maybe not. Because I don't know. I'm here to learn. I'm not here to tell about anything.
As the industrial player, I think the skill should be knowing how to avoid a pirate attack in the first place, preparing if you somehow do come under attack. But if you're just a solo player and you just casually jump directly from Arc L1 to Arc Orb with a white suit, no guns, no escorts, no turret gunners in a caterpillar, and you get interdicted by a pirate group of like 8 people,
yeah, it's on you. Then
you can't really complain if you get pirated.
Hey, Sal, how you doing?
Like the counter to QED is literally just don't go directly to where you need to go. And I think quantum boosting will adjust that. And it's also why I think the Mantis will have to change slightly.
Yeah.
I think Agents was talking about this a lot, is that the Mantis should possibly be able to just follow a ship and then interdict it mid-quantum, similar to Elite.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, because quantum travel seems to be moving away from a direct thing to more of an active thing. I could be wrong.
Yeah, that would be hard because it moves so fast.
Yeah.
Well, the scenario like that I always like to think of when it comes to chasing targets, because that's what it is. That's what you're doing. Like you'll pull them out of quantum travel, and then you've got to chase them down. Because most of the time they're not going to just sit there and let you wail on them. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they recognize who they're getting pirated by, and they're too busy talking and chat to us to bloody tell us that they're fans. But the chase is one of those things where it creates that tension, that interaction, and really like I hear what you're saying with regards to what you're saying there, Mike. Like
ESQ, yeah. I hope his ears stay folded down.
You need the hope.
They're meant to be like this.
And I've encountered players like cargo haulers who are in ships that are far inferior to what we're flying, and they've used tactics to be able to get away from us. And it's quite impressive, like I've had cargo haulers try and skip us off the atmospheres of moons. And, like they're dipping in and out. And
exactly, I'm hoping for that, dude.
Of their ship, because
you know what I mean? Like, even though I do it all the time on stream, it's boring as fuck just torping a hammerhead all the time.
Us around, for
and then moving on to the next mission.
Chase, try and string us all out. And then they'll start, like dipping in and out of the atmosphere. And I can tell you now, inexperienced pirates, they don't recognize that. And they will overshoot the target long enough for them to jump away. Like the chases that we get involved in right now, the worst. Before it used to be the best.
Just let this run, guys, and I'm going to let him go to the toilet. I'll be able to
rely on the desync shield to bloody protect you long enough until we either get bored or we kill you, or you can bedlog. Now it's with the fixes for desync that we've all got, it's more or less like they've all just switched to combat logging. But the ones who do try and avoid us, who try and fight back, they'll use maneuvers and they'll leverage the acceleration that their ships can just punch out harder than what we can. And we've got to be on the ball with what we're doing and making sure that we're leading their movements so that we can stay ahead of them. And with even with a Mantis, trying to do that and keep ahead of them. Like a C2, for example, is a really, really difficult ship if the pilot who's flying it knows what they're doing. Like that Mantis has to stay on ball. And when you got like 3 other, EMP ships kicking around, and you might have a couple of, counter escort fighters there just trying to help with getting the shields down, collisions are going to happen. And that's what, cargo haulers can do, industrials can do. The main issue that a lot of players have, though, is that they don't have that sort of experience. Like we'll pirate 5 people in a night and we'll gain a range of experience doing that. Most people, who get pirated, it's like once, maybe in a year.
I have been pirated twice. It's been you guys twice, and it has been in the course of years. Right? Years.
Yeah.
One was the worst experience for both of us possible, and the second was probably the best. It was really fun, but it's so rare, and I really want to. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's not the topic of discussion today, but it sort of is, and the reason why I've brought up the single player scenario, the single player against me, and the single player that I am, is MMOs.
Yo,
sadly,
Apple, thank you very much for the raid, dude. Sorry, I was just letting the puppy out. No, you have nothing to be fucking moping about with. How you doing, guys? Welcome in. Appreciate that. Catch up. What a cute floof. Thank you. Yeah, just let him out. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a good show. Oh dear. What's wrong? You wanting to say your piece? What are you saying? This is little Nick's, by the way. Yeah, he was just out. He might actually settle down again now, because he's done the toilet. Hey? You gonna be chilled? Give me like another half an hour? Would be cool? Yeah? Alright, we'll see if we can get another half an hour out of him. Had a lot of fun? Nice, dude.
And MMO players, sadly, aren't who they used to be. And these games have shifted solo content.
He just brought out a fucking reaction video for the solo player video he's talking about stuff. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny how I know where he's going with this already.
Players have definitely gotten used to taking their Argo Mole, their C2, their Caterpillar out by themselves, because it's too much work to do everything else. And that's part of poor design on CIG's part, possibly, or great design on CIG's part, possibly, forcing players into doing this, but that could hurt the game, that could help the game. The idea of coming across a group of 8 Mongrel Squad players is incredible.
Go on then, howl. You gonna howl? Or are you done? Was it just one cry? No, he's cleaning his paws. My goodness. He is chaos, like.
Incredibly unlikely.
He does it to troll, I think.
The finding a group of organized cargo haulers is equally as incredibly unlikely. So that's why I keep bringing up the scenario of, no matter how many players we have in a server, guys, it's a lot of the situations that we're going to come across are going to be these solo experiences, are going to be players that want to play.
Because I've literally said this when the server went up and people were like, oh, there's going to be more people to kill. No, it's not.
I'm not one of those players. I mean, I currently
there's no more bounty hunters and stuff like that.
But this is what the world is now, sadly. So it's, does the game change, or do the players change? Like, what happens first?
If you made this a solo game, people quit. This is not like World of Warcraft where you can go and spend.
So that's like sort of where the perspective that I'm coming from is, there has to be a chance for the solo player. The solo player has to have the opportunity. It can't be easy, but it has to be there, or I think the game dies.
Can I talk about that?
Please.
So as a solo player,
yes,
there are still good options for avoiding stuff like piracy. Like you can just not bring a ship that has no pilot guns, like a Carrack.
Yeah, exactly.
as a start.
Yep.
Greed takes
that's
over
the
in a
biggest
lot
thing.
of
Like,
people
if you
in
fly
this
a
game.
Cutlass as a solo player, you're gonna have a much
Just
better
because you bought a
chance,
Carrack doesn't mean you
fighting
use it every
pirates
day,
versus
right?
a bigger ship like a Caterpillar with no turret gunners.
Yeah, can
And
I
if you
jump
wanna-
in for a sec? Just
Yeah, go
really
ahead.
quick. I had this crazy scenario where I went down. I was just going to do a bunker, and this guy was there with a tank.
Exactly,
and he had
just
an
use some
A2, and
MSR.
long story short, I stole his A2. Okay, and his friends all started coming, and I was fighting. I was dogfighting in an A2 against a Gladius. And I got his shields down. And if we were in a different scenario where he couldn't run and get his shields back up, like,
The fact now Salty Mike is pretty decent at flying and PvP. I don't know how much PvP he does, but the fact that somebody like Salty Mike can say that they were dogfighting a Gladius in an A2, that just sounds so fucking stupid to me in any form of it, right? I got his shields down in an A2 and it's a goddamn Gladius. Like, I know. Like, what the fuck, man? It shouldn't be possible. It's so stupid.
I maybe had a chance to have won that engagement. That's very similar to what maybe a C2 versus a Gladius would have been, right? And then eventually we're just standing there and nothing's happening, so I just... It was.
I know.
I think that's a good point you make, and I just had.
I know,
like that I felt
people
like
PvP in an A2.
Yeah. I mean, the A2 is well, I think it accelerates faster than a Cutlass in every direction, so that's fun.
It was fun. It was like it felt really stupid because it kind of felt like I was dogfighting in a giant ship. I also bombed one of their friends who thought they were hiding on the.
Was it Morphologist? I'm always gonna bring that meme up.
Yeah, so as a solo player, you shouldn't have options to go into the sort of bigger leagues in Star Citizen. I think that's where bigger sort of multiplayer play should happen.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to fly a whole C or a whole D or a Caterpillar, then you should have to bring a couple players. Otherwise, it's just, I mean, you can still do it. You're just gonna die to pirates.
Are there even turrets on the whole ships?
There are. Actually, I think this whole C has like 2 size 5s.
Okay, cool.
We're
I think it's
forgetting
pretty
something
strong.
that's really important. AI slave turrets.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up too.
I don't think CIG thinks that's important.
Yeah, copium.
Well,
I
we're
think it
talking
might be,
about
but
future
hopefully.
content, right? And we're talking.
Excuse me. You have a husky toy, a ball, and everything else there. Is it because you're not getting talked at? What do you mean that's not fair? Life is not fair. You're 8 weeks old. Yeah. Can we please just get to the end of this part, and then I'll do a part 2 tomorrow, right? Because obviously you need way more entertainment than just toilet break. Fuck's sake. Are you gonna give people a show since you're making such a racket already? No? Every time I bring that camera up, you're just like Luna. Luna always knew that the camera was up. Yeah? You good? Nyang nyang nyang. Right. YouTube Metal. I'm gonna fucking continue this, alright?
Talking about future battles. So I think AI is a huge game changer for people. And it depends how good they make these AI, if they're actually going to...
If they're anything like what we saw at Citizen Con, we're fine, right?
Yeah, because like what game has had AI that are as effective as players? It's like
You want them back out?
They shouldn't be.
Dude, I'm gonna get bitten if I bring him out now. He's fully awake.
If you're in a group of 8 versus like 2 people and then a couple of AI, you should win.
6 AI, make it even.
Here's my take on this, right? Because we're talking about turrets.
When you do that, look up to that blue light up there.
As good as players.
That's it. Yeah. Give them that. They'll get their dicks hard. That's it. Howl, little wolf, howl.
Communication and being able to focus fire other ships. AI won't be able to do that, but players can.
That's interesting, and also just general it costs. There's a cost factor to that. And maybe that'll mean
one
something
more
day when
chest
money
for
means
you,
something
Joyce.
in-game, a bit more
Just
than it does now.
fucking do this here.
I'm
gonna have to move this chair.
Do like a hypothetical, like Mike. Like, do you believe that if you were mining, on a moon in a prospector, that you should be able to get out of that if you get caught? Or do you think it should have been your responsibility to mine somewhere smarter?
Oh, it should.
Like,
well,
and do get caught. You know
I mean,
what I'm saying? Like,
the way I mine now is
the balance should be.
Well, yeah, the way I mine now is to just be smart. I fly into a location and I don't QT to anything. I fly down to a random spot on the surface, and the only way that I'm getting caught is if you're watching my stream and you go down to the location that I'm going to, because you could tell by the way the planet looks or whatever, right? Or I just get really lucky and somebody happens to scan, or really unlucky and somebody happens to scan in that area and find me, right? But
do you think that like where they're going with this, if the master modes is to benefit in addiction and making it hard to escape, harder, not impossible but harder, do you think that that's in a good place, or would you prefer the prospectors being able to get out of that, like be able to go from 0 to 100 real quick?
I think
just to quickly pause on that, that camera always puts people off, but that's how big he is right now at 8 weeks. This is an 8-week puppy, by the way, and it's a husky. It's not like a fucking what are they called, Saint Bernard or anything like that. It's a fucking monster. He's so big, but hopefully his ears will go up like that once they get proper blood flow. But I kind of want them to stay down because it's very cute and unique, But he seems to be more settled now.
Can I maybe like answer that question with a different, like totally different question? It's
absolutely.
more what Jonathan brought up was like scanning. I feel like scanning is in like the stupidest place and is so not normal at all, and just this placeholder pile of garbage where it's just so weird. Like, I'm sorry.
So
pirates,
if you get
pirates are
caught,
scanning and finding rocks and not ships, and miners are finding things that they're not looking for. It doesn't make any sense. It's very weird.
Bullshit.
Yeah, right. So there's
scanning went backwards.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude, it's so bad.
And then when you scan, it's not like it lights you up. Like, I think that the way that the game is probably going to go is what they showed us at CitizenCon with the individual player, right? You did a little scan, you get all your little items in front of you, you do a big scan, guess what? You lit your ass up to everyone around you. So if you're Letty or Xperia in Mongrel Squad and you're scanning looking for me, the pitiful miner, I'm going to know that you're looking, and I'm going to have the opportunity to leave. And if I'm not paying attention, that shit's on me. So to answer your question, I think that's where...
But I don't think I've got long, because he's already 6 kilograms.
Should be played out.
The moment he gets a little bit more bone density and muscle, he's going to be so heavy.
Then you're rolling the dice and can maybe get out before they get to you. Yeah, or, that would make sense to me. That'd be a decent balance.
Yeah,
or the classic CIG thing is...
I put a tweet out today. I think if you do !Nova, it'll give you a new tweet now for the one I put out, and you see Nova actually having fun. Even though most people will not think it's Nova having fun, he's not done it in weeks because he's had nobody to play with, and he was actually having a good growling match. Oh, do you want to say something to your fans? You speak here. You want to breathe into the mic? I'm going to pick you up. Are you ready? Are you snuggled? You good? You happy to continue? Right, let's continue then.
Is we give each other the choice. They can have certain components on them that maybe makes their scans a little bit less
Yep.
powerful.
Yeah, I love
but,
that. I actually
but-
really like that.
But yeah, their visibility goes down. But I have a radar that is
That's
a little,
cool.
you know, I choose to choose a radar that does something negative to me, but gives me the advantage of knowing
Yeah,
that
I won't be
somebody
able to
pinged
do
me
this
early,
in
right?
a couple of
Like
weeks.
these are
It's
all
gonna be
things
too
that
heavy.
we're not playing a finished game. These are all things that they're most likely going to consider. These aren't crazy ideas that I just made up in my head that they probably didn't. Like we all know that I'm sure they've talked about these things. The implementation is the hard part.
It's
So
NIX,
that's the-
Latin for
the
snow,
thing
Jace.
with all that. I think that's how that scenario plays out. I think it all
That's
plays
how
out
it's
where
spelled
we're
for Nix.
100K from each other, 25K from each other, 50K from each other, or
Actually, the
excuse me,
community
maybe
that
even
picked
like
the
3,
name,
4, 5K. Like
I gave
just
people
far
free
away from each
options.
other, where we're not on each other's screens, we're not on each other's radars, but then we made a choice that that scenario happened.
Like a little
And I guess I
cloud.
mean you're making a good point about that maybe that's where the industry player makes their decision,
Nova.
the right one
Yeah,
or the
maybe
wrong
it should
one.
be strategy and
Nova.
preparation more so than in the minute. You know, like
Yeah.
I think
That's-
that there's a
that's-
debate there. It's hard to get the.
That's
the
going to be
really
in
hard to
the
convince
future on
community of
Discord,
that,
yeah,
you know,
dude.
because
But
they
right now, I'm
used
just
to-
showing everyone
like
everything.
our mongrel friends here are saying, you know, just flying with complete immunity. But yeah, I
enough?
think I think that could be like the answer
you
to
go.
a lot of this, right? Is like
Run free.
it's gank prep. You know, it's making sure that you know you're expecting it, you're planning for it, you've got a plan.
Give me
for
a
it.
sec. I'll need to go see where he's going.
Yeah, I mean, Xperia or Letty, how do you feel about that? Because it does sound like it's a little advantageous in the my favor, the minor favor.
Well,
in that way.
that's what we've been saying. It's all about the preparation rather than the actual fight. Like obviously, a prospector is never going to be as good in a fight as a gladius. It shouldn't be, because otherwise we use prospectors for dogfighting.
Yeah.
But it's all about the preparation, and this is one thing I always see when I do a shipboarding. Is everyone just wears a white suit? They don't bring guns, they don't bring armor, they don't expect to be boarded, and when they do, they're not ready.
It's a bunch of sperm running around.
One of the best game experiences I had. I randomly prepared one day. I wasn't lazy, and then you guys came around, and I happened to have a railgun on me, and it was awesome. And you know, you guys were caught off guard a little bit. I was caught off guard initially. Then you are. It was so fun. This is all up on their YouTube channel, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. We weren't expecting to lose a warlock. Like when it happened, we had no idea. Like it was Kanjar that got blown up.
I was literally
first.
saying, I've got about 5-10 minutes. I've left him with Nova.
And then
locked inside the living room. So
find Mike, who was running around with a railgun at the time. We had no idea.
We'll definitely have to do a part 2 on this. Sadly, 2 hours is pretty good actually. I was only expecting an hour stream, to be honest.
And we weren't getting the shield notifications either. So Baron almost died, and he only noticed at the last moment that one of his shield faces was disappearing. And that got us flying all evasively, and we had to drop one of our Marines on the ground just to go and hunt Mike down.
Yeah,
it reaffirmed the respect that the railgun deserves. But the thing is like the point about preparation, like people just want to be able to jump in game, thumb and bum, mine neutral, and just move box from A to B. But when it comes to what we do when it comes to that preparation right now,
I'm pretty sure they took out one person with the railgun, right?
Where they go. We study what miners do, where they go. We study like how the ship properties and all those stats and things like that. Like the level of preparation that we do when it comes to piracy, it just doesn't scale when you get that solo space dad kicking around in the C2 fat arming it with a bloody hold full of Laranite, and they're just expecting to be able to escape. It's like, fuck you, man.
Right, we are going to leave it at this point. Let me just copy the URL and I'll put this in my private folder here to regain tomorrow. Let's just leave it this on where, for me, I believe that Star Citizen needs to get to the point where people stop using a big ship just because they fucking own it, right? It needs to get to the point where you use the, say for example you're in a hostile zone, or you've got Jace, right? Jace and the crew are fucking in the area. Sorry, I need to just move this chair slightly. Ugh. In the area, and you know that's sort of going on. Instead of you fucking around with your big C2 trying to get full cargo, you decide to take out the MSR and you go fast, furious, you wear a white vest, you have a hanging chain, you shave your head completely bald, and you listen to some fucking loud music on your subwoofers. That would be the recommendation that you would do in Star Citizen in the future, is just, if there is a job for every fighter, and it should always be where one fighter dominates everything, then it should be the same for trading and mining as well within Star Citizen. It should not be where I have a prospector, I can do everything, you know? It needs to be where, oh, I own a C2, but I also have a cutlass. I don't have anyone to fucking help me. What do? I'll take the cutlass, it's less loss, and I might be able to survive some things. If it's good enough for fighters to have to swap out and be forced by CG, it should be the same thing for traders, miners. Everyone should have to do that, you know? Anyway. Yeah. Let me find out. So we'll continue with part 2. I was kind of hoping we'd be able to do it all in one stream, but yeah, well, Nyx is coming to our lives. So he's a little bit, requires more. Again, we did an hour, we've got a bit more today. We'll continue on with it and try and push back on things. Thank you very much for the subs again today, guys. The follows coming in today. Let me find somebody. Vegan Spaceman just went live. Let's go and drop the love on Vegan. Awesome dude. Not seen him streaming in a while. Busy life. And yeah. We will continue tomorrow with part 2 of this. But it's been a lot of fun, actually. I like listening to this sort of group. Again, I personal reasons, I just don't think we needed so many people from the same sort of category. It would be nice if like a trader with some information was speaking and stuff like that, you know. Hablo, thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Can we get some vibes in chat, please? Let's drop the love over onto Vegan whilst we're waiting here. And yeah, we will do tomorrow, part 2. Continue off where we are. Hope to see you guys and all that jazz. Enjoy Vegan show. If I don't get to see you, have a great fucking Tuesday. And also, have a great fucking Monday. Take care, guys. Appreciate it. Massively appreciate it, guys. Blasty, Miss Cell, Cinema, Undo. Going up to Perhelium. Jace, thank you very much, guys, for being there. Air, welcome and take care as well. Astro Nutty. Alpha, take care. I don't think I said hello to you, Air, when you first put a message down. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Take care. I'll try and get some more Nick stuff out later on as well. Have a good one, alright? Jermaine, take care, guys. Appreciate it.